Yeah.
And if you drive it like safely, which I normally do.
I would hope so.
Yeah. It gets this thing called juddering. And I'm like, what in the?
Or is that just too much snow in your tires?
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I thought, well, maybe the air, because they're these low, whatever. And it's called juddering. And I'm like, they made up this term at the Mercedes
That does sound made up.
I know, but it's like you turn the corner and go, and I'm like, what in the hell is this
Does not
noise?
seem normal.
Oh,
I'm gonna Google juddering.
Go ahead. I'm serious. It's a term they made up.
$2,500 markup at Mercedes.
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna start using that. I'm gonna start using that in real estate. What's going on in this market? It's juddering. This market is juddering.
What's going on in the basement here?
Yeah, this would be a degree of juddering.
Yeah.
You know,
your heater must be juddering.
Oh,
when in doubt, make something up. It's got to be this far in life. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start off by reviewing a couple of things that were supposed to be assignments per se from the last session. I know we've got some people traveling, this, that, and the other, and in the last couple of days with school closures, some people's schedules off. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to dive into some very, very rich content. We have like over 150 pages to cover. It's all good stuff. So I'm going to be moving at breakneck pace. I apologize if I made anybody angry in the first session. We're missing a couple people because it got real. All right, we're talking lead generation and what you need to be doing with your business. So I'm going to chalk it up to people traveling, and not that they were offended that we spent a lot of time talking about what you actually need to do to succeed in this business. Okay?
Are we talking in the materials section? Session 1?
Yep, we will. Today's sessions are going to be Power Session 2, prospecting, and Power Session 3, marketing.
I don't know that I did have that material.
If you go to KW Connect and you find 3612.3, you'll be able to find the student manual for both. So before we jump into Power Session 2, I want to revisit a couple of things we talked about last week. One of them was collecting testimonials from people. Did anybody go out there and do that?
I need a link or some direction on how to do this little thing, because many of my clients struggle with that. They look, I can't figure it out, and they just go 5 stars.
Okay, that's good. That's all you need.
I know, but the point is they can't get into that.
So take a note of this email address, clientcare@teamluckyduck.com. Email Kelly and ask her for exactly what we do, and she'll tell you. And she'll give you the email template we utilize to make your life that much easier. That goes for anybody. If you email Kelly at clientcare@teamluckyduck.com, she'll give you exactly what we do to get Zillow reviews. We had one come in over the weekend. I dragged Carly down to compliment her because the review literally said, my husband and I were not going to hire a realtor after meeting with Carly, learning about her strategies. She was worth every penny because she netted them like 10 grand more than their list price on the home. That's going to be our lead testimony now. Anytime somebody says I wasn't going to hire an agent, but they turn out to be well worth the cost, that's gold when it comes to marketing. Anybody else have any luck with testimonials? Anybody plan to do testimonials?
Is it under KW Connect?
Yeah, go to KW Connect and search 36:12:3. Up in the search bar. Yep, just click it. Click where it says search. 36, 12, 3. Click on course materials. Click on materials. And then student zip, student PDF zip, and then you'll find all the different websites. So here's the deal. If you haven't taken the time to do this, I highly recommend it. And the takeaway from the last time was this: testimonials don't necessarily have to come from current or past clients, right? They can come from anybody that knows you, that's had a good working relationship or experience with you. You can leverage things, testimonial that sounds like this. I've known Leanne for years. She's extremely trustworthy and hardworking. I highly recommend you utilize her. Does that necessarily have to come from a past client? Absolutely not. That can come from anybody that knows you that's willing to do that kind of testimonial. So think very strategically about how you can build an arsenal of testimonials that you can share with people to help you in your marketing efforts. And then as you are doing closings, continue to get testimonials from them as well and add them to your arsenal. Okay, the other.
We're in Power Session 2.
Yep, we'll be in Power Session 2 and 3 today. The next exercise was, what do you offer? So itemize services that you offer when it comes to real estate. Anybody do this exercise?
I did.
What did you come up with?
Oh my God.
That's okay. Off the top of your head, what were maybe 2 or 3?
I think just, trustworthy, capable, very focused on, I can't remember which one was the other question, but
That's okay.
we've got a couple of them there.
So
Same stuff.
basically it was, how can we utilize these services to shape our value proposition or our unique selling proposition, right? So what did you collectively come up with as some of the unique selling points or the value that you bring to clients in a transaction?
You said the value proposition?
Yeah. Jake, you got all kinds of stuff written over there. Let me see your notes.
Oh, no, I don't know.
Give me this. I will put you on the spot.
He's an overachiever here.
He is, look at that.
No
Woo,
kidding.
written novel, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, wait a minute, it's all about me. It says, I can't believe Zach is teaching this again today. No, just kidding. Okay, value proposition, committed, accessible, efficient, responsible, considerate, phenomenal. Like if I took just a quick 10-second overview and said, hey, when you work with me, hey, my name's Jake, when you work with me, you get an agent who's committed, accessible, efficient, responsive, and considerate. I'm already starting to see value in the message he's communicating. I won't go into detail on everything that you wrote there.
So you can't read it?
No, you actually have way better handwriting than I do, so this is good. What I do for my customers, whatever it takes, customer service, resource for questions, have market knowledge, the ability to negotiate, show homes, help buyers sell, invest, fill out the paperwork, communicate on any medium, flexibility, and commitment. So you can package all that in a quick, 10-second marketing message that explains to people what you do. From, hey, here's the deal. I do whatever it takes to help you win when it comes to buying or selling a property. My customer service is unparalleled, have a depth of market knowledge or resources at my disposal. I negotiate hard for my clients, things like that. So the question is, the key task is when you do all this brainstorming, what I would suggest you do is pull out the 3 to 5 things that you think are your biggest strengths, and then have your marketing and your messaging and your communication honed in and focused on those just a few key things. Because if you try to do everything, you try to be everybody to everyone. Hey Bob, how are you? Sometimes a lot of stuff gets lost in your messaging. So hone in on the 3 to 5 key things that you feel that are genuine and sincere to you, that you can really speak to, and have that be the message you communicate consistently, and have that be what you're branded as. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the marketing session that we're about to do as well. Any other thoughts on that? I've done this. I wish I would have done it systematically and more strategically through a 36-12-3 program, but I did it because I realized by all the consultations and appointments I did over and over and over and over again, I realized I was doing 3 things. And I realized I could sell my services on these 3 things to people, and they would hire me. Hey, how are you? Aren't you glad you're in Minnesota this time of year?
Totally.
Got frozen the last couple days?
Yeah.
So the 3 things for me, and you can feel free to use them if you want, because I've trained many agents, and I love when I'll walk by a conference room and they'll be doing a consultation, and I hear them using the same exact 3 things. It's usually my actual PowerPoint that I sent them that they're using too, which is just fine. But it's educate, protect, and advise. Educate, protect, and advise. Those are the 3 things that I offer, especially to buyers that have the most value. I'm going to educate you about the market, your options, how to navigate your way through the home buying process. I'm going to advise you along the way regarding your options and the things you can do. And oh, by the way, I'm going to protect you throughout that process and when it comes to negotiations and the contracts. That's what people want. They don't want to be sold on anything. That's not your job. They want education, they want advice, and they want to be protected. And oh, by the way, do you think those 3 things apply to any industry? No matter if you're hiring an accountant, if you're going to the doctor's office, if you're hiring an attorney, you're likely to want the same 3 things. If you're going to buy a car, hey, I want you to educate me about cars a little bit. I want you to give me some advice. And oh, by the way, I want you to protect me. Whether that's a warranty or making sure I don't get screwed by overpaying for the car, it's the same exact principles, our industry. So hone in and focus on those things and speak to that, because that's what people are most intrigued by. Okay, without further ado, let's dive into power session 2, which is prospecting. If I go too fast, too bad. No, just kidding. If I go too fast, just let me know. All right. Page 8. I'm going to ask a couple of these questions. Jacob, calm down. I'm going to ask a couple of these questions, and then I'm going to let them linger for a little while. And I want you guys to spend some time thinking about them, and if you can, jot down some answers or write some notes. Okay. So where are you today? Where are you today with your lead generation efforts? Get into the habit of taking accountability for your actions and your progress. Take time to share in this group the challenges and your next steps. So here are the directions. List the lead generation activities you completed during the last 24 hours. We're going to talk about your ahas and your challenges and discuss what you think you can do differently within the next 24 hours. So the first portion is this. What lead generation activities have you done in the last 24 hours? I'll say even since Monday. What lead generation activities have you done so far this week? What are some ahas you've gathered from those activities? What have been the difficult part of the lead generation activities or the challenges that you faced? And then the last question is going to be, what will you do differently between now and the end of the week? So take 60 seconds, mull some of that over, and jot down some notes, and we'll revisit it. All right. What kind of lead generation activities have you guys been doing so far this week? Yes, sir.
I've done a couple of phone calls to current folks that I've been chatting with. And,
Perfect.
Then after that, asking for referrals before I hang up the phone.
Okay. Good.
And not so much like, hey, who do you know that wants a house? But who do you know that I should know that is interested in this arena of real estate?
Yeah. Very good. And how'd those calls go?
They went well. They're people I know.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't as, I should have been a lot more excited about saying, hey, who do you know? But for some reason, I think I was distracted on something. I didn't ask the right way, and I know that really inhibited one of my calls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the
Smile Lily dial.
yeah, the amount of energy you bring to that kind of stuff is crucial. And I'm the kind of guy that, if you'd have said that to me a couple of years ago, I'm like, okay, that sounds like some cheesy, corny stuff. I need to get pepped up more. But my God, it's so true. People they will feed off of the energy that they can pick up from you through the phone, right? So if you're coming to it with a lot of energy, hey, how are you? This is Nick over at Keller Williams. It's been a while since we've caught up. Just checking to see how you're doing. Awesome. Hey, while I've got you on the phone, do you know of anybody that might be looking to buy or sell? I'd love to take great care of.
And the confidence, too, behind it.
Absolutely.
You know that you're going to get those referrals.
Right.
That's
Versus, hey, Jake, this is Zach over at Keller Williams. How you doing today? Awesome. Hey, man, I'm just calling to see if you know of anybody that might be looking to do something in real estate. Right. I would rather have you do that than nothing, but obviously one is going to be better than the other in terms of the energy and the excitement that you bring, right? The same thing I try to do up here when I'm teaching, because I can go over here and say, all right, good morning, class. Thank you for being here. Today we're going to talk about lead generation, marketing, and prospecting. Please turn to page 2. You know what I mean? That's just not going to do it for you. So the amount of energy you're bringing to your appointments, to your lead generation, your calls, people will feed off of that. So thank you for sharing that, Nick. Did anything come of any of your lead generation efforts?
Yeah, yes, I've got some introductions that are on their way.
Okay.
So hopefully they will come.
Sure. Absolutely.
Introductions to more introductions, but
Gotcha. So a little bit of networking and appointment setting and all that fun stuff. Thanks, Nikki. Okay. Who else? What sort of lead generation efforts have you done so far this week?
quite lead generation, but I bought some calendars with Minnesota Twins.
Okay, very good. So some marketing efforts?
Business cards on it, and I was handing them out to everybody and their brother. And the
Yeah,
guy I
absolutely.
work with every day comes up to me and he says, "Are you a realtor?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I didn't know that."
That would be lead generation, Bob. And so at that point right there, what happened?
I just talked to him more about, because I knew he was renting a house.
Yep.
So he bought it from the guy that he was renting it from.
Yep.
That was last year.
Sure.
So I just talked to him, he's got a daughter that's,
Perfect.
eventually gonna be looking for a house. I gave him 3 business cards.
Perfect.
I says, "Anybody come along, send them to me. I promise I'll take care of them."
That's what I was looking for, Bob,
And I
right there.
said, I'll look out for their best interest.
That's what it's all about. Just ending that conversation at the very least with the statement, "Hey, by the way, just so you know, if there's anybody else that you run into that could use my help, send them my way. I'd love to take great care of them. Here are a few cards, blah, blah, blah. Is it okay if I stay in touch with you even?" You can do something like that too. That's perfect.
There's actually 2 realtors that work there, and I was the only one that approached him by giving him cards, and he says, "Thanks for giving me the cards. So-and-so has never offered to help me at all."
Perfect. You'd be like, "Great, remember
Oh,
that.
there you
Never
go.
talked with it." No, just kidding. That's good. I think we covered a couple of ahas from that. So Nick's was just making the phone calls. It's easy to do, keep the energy high, get a live set appointments. Bob's was, you have to let people know, because you've been an agent for how long? At least a few months, right?
Mhm.
And this guy didn't quite know yet, right? So let people know that you're in the business, and then asking for those referrals or to refer you is going to be crucial as well. What has been the most challenging or difficult part of the lead generation or lack thereof that you've done so far this week? Yes.
I'd say mine is working remotely where I am right now.
Sure, absolutely.
I can make phone calls, I can send
Absolutely.
Facebook messages like I've been doing, but that's always a challenge being
Right.
far away.
Do you know when you're going to be back in Florida?
In April.
In April?
I have been working on some lead generations. One of the houses that we flipped down there,
Okay.
a neighbor's daughter is actually looking for a place right now. So I got her information and told her, hey, what you're looking for. I know what she's looking for. I'll send you places that I find that you might be
Absolutely.
interested in. So I've got her kind of on the
Yeah.
hook a little bit. And then another neighbor in Florida has a roommate that they're sick of that wants them to find a place.
Nice.
So I didn't obviously tell the roommate that, but
Right.
I was like, hey, and I gave them some financing stuff and they said
Okay.
they'd call me.
Perfect. No, that's great.
Motivated buyer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's a challenge right there. How do you call somebody and tell them you're a crappy renter? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just thought, I just asked her, I heard you'd be kind of looking for a place.
No, absolutely.
Kind of hee-haw, and I'd like to help you with that a little, to make sure maybe work a little smoother for you.
Perfect. The beauty of 2018 is it has never been easier to work remotely. It's never been easier. And one of the beautiful things about our industry is we have the ability to refer as well. So you're in a position where you can still do a lot of stuff up here that you need to. If you stumble across people that need help immediately and you can't do it, you can always refer and still cash it. And you've got the ability to set your calendar so that by the time you come back in April, you've got appointment after appointment.
And I had a couple lead generations last week of 2 people that have stayed in my properties that have thought about doing what we do.
Sure.
And I told them if they need help finding property, I'd be able to help them out.
Absolutely.
And then another person that lives here, I talked to last week, that said they were sick of living where the air hurts their face.
Right.
So I said I'd help them out if they ever wanted to move to Florida.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep putting it in their head.
Sure. That's great. So let me ask you this. What will you do differently between now and the end of the week when it comes to lead generation? If anything. Leanne's laughing over there. Are you laughing because you know you won't change, or
She's
why
got
are
a
you?
plan.
Huh?
She's got a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you giggle about that question, Leanne?
I'm really terrible about this lead generation crap. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound rude, but
It's not rude.
It's
You've
difficult.
revealed your mindset regarding it by
I know.
utilizing that word, which is okay.
No, it's just, it's hard. It's hard for me to get out of that mold of,
So let's,
I
can
don't
we
really like-
have candid talk?
yeah.
What's hard about it for you?
I I hate cold calling
Sure.
people that I
So,
don't know. that I've never
that's
met.
not hard, that's just something you don't prefer to do.
And so I really don't wanna ever talk to anybody I've never met.
So what keeps you from calling your database?
I do that,
How often?
not as often as I should.
Okay, so what can we do to do it more often?
I just need to be mentally ready. I've been kind of ill the last week, so coughing and stuff like that, it's
Sure,
not
sure.
really easy to get on the phone. I would have a normal conversation with someone, but I did make a few calls yesterday.
And,
Kind of
and
getting in.
how do those calls go?
Um,
Call me as somebody that you called yesterday and just, I'll play along with it. Let's just see what kind of conversation
So
you
hey
have.
Zach, I just wanted to follow up with you about your home. I know
Sure.
you really haven't been excited about putting it back on the market as you talked about before, but this is the best time to sell it if you're thinking about it. I did email you a property that I thought you'd be interested in looking at, and I'm just curious, what did you think?
Okay.
Would like to follow up with you on that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, the property that you sent looked pretty cool. I think I'd be interested in taking a look at it, but, as far as selling sooner rather than later, I know it's pretty frigid and cold. You might still want to wait till spring.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but that's okay, because then you would pivot into the
Yeah.
statistics and say, well, here's the deal. At your price point, there's only 12 homes in Rochester listed for sale.
That's right.
Here's what I can tell you. In a couple of months, it's going to double or maybe even triple. So right now, if you want to go on the market when there's limited competition, which is your best shot at netting the most for your home possible, now would be a great time. That's a very different conversation than, now's better. Okay. Why? And then you dive into some of those statistics, which I'm sure you've done because we've talked about that before, about how the myth that the winter months are a terrible time to sell is simply not true. Your competition is the lowest it's going to be, and your buyers are
They're out
extremely
there
motivated.
Waiting and just chomping at every single
Exactly.
thing that comes out.
Right. The only reason we have fewer transactions in the wintertime is because we as real estate professionals and the general public tell ourselves that there just should be.
And on vacation.
Right. But in reality, if you look at it, there are plenty of homes selling during those months. So I would say, for you specifically, Leanne, coming up with a strategy or a plan that allows you to work through your database once a quarter, just have conversations, kind of using the same referral script that Bob mentioned earlier, would work wonders for your business. Okay.
What if you're the other way, if you have time?
Say again?
What if you're the other way? So what if you don't mind calling, like cold calling, like random people, but you have trouble calling your database?
Then I would say, what the heck is wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. We can work on some scripts. So tell me more about that, Jake. What's the issue?
Just them kind of being, not even that, but like my mindset of not coming at the right contribution or like kind of annoying them.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm calling them.
Yeah. So I had a similar mindset when I first got into the business, which like yourself, I was a younger guy. And I didn't want to be that pesky friend that, oh God, Zach's calling me again, trying to sell me something. Just block, ignore the Bob, smiling back to the
Exactly.
But my mindset changed when I realized, well, here's the deal. The people I know are going to do a real estate transaction at some point. If I have not done my job by getting in front of them and letting them know that when they're looking to do a transaction that I'd be happy to help them, then I have failed them. Because God forbid they go get helped by somebody else and get taken advantage of or have a terrible experience. So my thought process is I'm coming from contribution every time I make that phone call and reach out to the people that I know to let them know or just remind them that, hey, if and when you go to do a real estate transaction, I'd love to help you. You know what I mean? So here's how that conversation might sound for me, Jake, when I'm calling my database. So I'm going to call you. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Jake, how are you? It's Zach over at Keller Williams, man. How you been?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How's the new year treating you so far?
It's good. Trying to stay warm. But
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Spring break's just around the corner. I am looking forward to it. I know I'm calling you middle of the day. You're a busy guy, so I'll be short and sweet. Jake, I'm just calling to see if you know of anybody that might need help with a real estate transaction in the near future.
not that I can think of it.
Hey, man, no worries. I wanted to let you know. I appreciate the fact that you even took a second to think about it. Could you do me a huge favor?
What's that?
I've got a lot of some hefty goals this year. I want to help, at least 50 people or their families buy or sell properties here this year. And I'm hoping that if you come across people that are looking to buy or sell, could you do me a favor and put me in touch with them? I promise to take great care of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. What do you got going on this summer?
Just staying around, doing little projects, put up together for over the winter.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Try to have at least a little bit of fun. So, well, Jake, again, I know you're a busy guy. I won't take up much more of your time. I really appreciate it. If there's anything I can ever do for you, just let me know. Give me a holler.
Okay, thank you.
Take it easy, buddy.
Take care.
Is that an easy phone call to make? It's super easy. Did you feel like I was trying to sell you?
No.
No, not really. And I always try to sandwich it with a little bit of, pleasantries at the very beginning. And then one of the things I utilize right away, which is a quick way to kind of orient it to business, is I compliment him sort of by saying, hey, look, I know you're a busy guy. I'm calling you during the middle of the day. And then I go right into what it is I'm looking to do. And then I'll exchange a little bit more pleasantries toward the end of the conversation so that, the business kind of got sandwiched in that conversation. It's not what I'm ending on per se. And then I'll end the conversation. And I'll even say something to the effect of, hey, if there's anything I can ever do for you, just let me know. Right? Because if he gets a call like that once a quarter, plus he's invited to client appreciation events, plus he's getting a monthly newsletter and holiday greetings, how often is that guy being reminded of the fact that I'm in real estate and I'm willing to help him, his friends, and his family?
32 times.
At least. If you're on Team Lucky, if you're in Team Lucky Ducks database, it's probably closer to 40 or 50 times a year. And oh, by the way, we're probably getting in front of you at least 3 to 5 times physically per year throughout all the various events we do, not even to include the videos that we do or the social media stuff that we're doing. I'm telling you, there's probably people out there on an annual basis that they're seeing stuff from us over 100 times a year through all the different avenues we're utilizing. Facebook is going to be one that you can do that very easily, get in front of people on a regular basis. I would say conservatively, I could probably get something real estate related in front of people via their Facebook newsfeed 5 times a month. What's 5 times 12? That's huge. And then factor in all the other touches that we're doing, right? It's a system, and you have to be disciplined about it. So Jake, I appreciate that comment. That can be a challenge, but just calm. And for you right now, one of the calls you can make is, hey Nick, this is Jake, just calling to catch up a little bit. Hey man, I just recently started a career in real estate. Wanted to call you personally, letting you know if you ever need help when it comes to real estate, I would love to help you or anybody that you know for that matter. Does anybody come to mind right now? I heard a over here. Was that a good or no?
I was trying to figure out what the heck that noise was, and it sounded like it was a helicopter or something on the roof, but it must have been the heating system.
I think I was on Inman the other day reading an article about being new and making that phone call like, oh, I just started in real estate, so on and so forth. And they had suggested that you just say, hey, I'm in real estate. I've been working with a couple of people, because then you don't feel like right off the bat you're like, hi, I'm brand new. So because a lot of people there. What did it say? Contrary to popular belief, they're not actually watching your every moment of your life.
Yes.
So they don't
know you're new.
You've actually been in real estate.
They get to make it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, so I have another thought about that we'll talk about. And the beauty of that script, Nick, is you can use it anytime.
Yeah.
It is not limited to you just being new. Hey, I'm in real estate, right? And that's literally like what you do all the time.
It is.
But you make it, or perception is reality. This happens even with agents that are in the business. Like there are some agents, you go on Facebook, you would think that they have their own, show on HGTV and they sell thousands of homes a year, when in reality they sold 6 houses last year, right? Mm-hmm. Because of everything they're doing on social media. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but what I'm saying is I agree with Nick that the general public only knows and digests what it is that you're communicating to them. They're not going to go research you. They can't just log into MLS and pull up your stats. There's one place they can go that can give them an accurate idea, which is Zillow right now. Oh, by the way, the new Keller Williams app that they rolled out, when you're referring to agents within Keller Williams, guess what's now displayed by your name? Your transactions for the last rolling 12 months.
Oh. It's either good or bad.
It is. It's either or it's sweet. I don't like if somebody clicks on South Metro and they see somebody and the number of transactions they have versus somebody else, it's revealing.
Right. You want to have really knowledgeable.
Right, and you want to know, because here's the deal. Sometimes, if somebody says something that doesn't quite add up to me, and I have the time, I'll go research it. I'll look it up. And if you're making it seem like you do 100 transactions a year, and you basically said that, and I looked you up and you did 12, no judgment. But now I know everything I need to know about you, for the most part. You know what I mean? Okay. Page 9. In the introduction, which was last week, you gained the critical mindset of a lead generator, and now you're ready to explore strategies and seek and find new sources of leads. In this session, you will overcome any limiting beliefs about prospecting and learn ways to establish meaningful business relationships with people through direct contact. Okay, I'm going to summarize the story on page 10 real quick. So this is regarding an agent and his day. Bill Watson's perfect day. From 7 to 8 a.m., I call expired and canceled listings. From 8 to 9, I do administrative work and lead follow-up. From 9 to 10, I call for sale by owners. From 10 to 12, I knock on doors. From 12 to 1, I go to lunch. From 1 to 2, I call back expired listings and return phone calls. From 2 to 3, I door knock again. After 3 p.m., I go on appointments and call expired listings again. I just stay on my schedule and do that every single working day. Bill sold 30 homes his first year in the business in a town where he knew no one. Why? Because he worked. From 7 to 3, all he did was lead generate. Multiple different sources. And his first year in a place he was not from, he did 30 deals. That's impressive. 30 deals in a place you're not from in a year. That's impressive. His schedule is impressive. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how many deals he's doing nowadays, because I guarantee it's over 100. He uses a vision board, etc. With his commitment to lead generation leads, Bill currently averages 8 transactions a month. What's 8 times 12?
70, no. 96.
So almost 100, right? He's clear about his commitment. Page 13. The lead generation puzzle. You will use 2 general approaches to lead generation, prospecting and marketing, to promote what you do relentlessly and continuously. It takes a coordinated plan of prospecting and marketing to solve the lead generation puzzle. If you look toward the bottom of the page, it's got prospecting plus marketing. Here's the deal about marketing. It complements or amplifies your prospecting. If you had to choose just one, it would be prospecting all day long. Marketing simply amplifies or adds to your prospecting efforts. Don't confuse that. Don't think that you can just solely rely on marketing, especially if you're brand spanking new. It's got to be prospecting. You can get to the point where maybe you've built up enough business and credibility and reputation that you can start to shift your focus toward marketing. But of the two, which is least costly? Prospecting by far. So I would recommend that you always keep that as the foundation of your business. The quote on the side of the page, my 20% is prospecting. Do I stack marketing on top of that? Absolutely. But the foundation, the 20%, is prospecting. Page 14. To get in this business, number 1, you need to really be a proactive person, not a reactive person. Get the leads rather than wait for them to come to you. And then when you uncover a lead, you have to run that lead down with urgency. If somebody raises their hand and says, Bob, we're thinking about buying or selling, the next thing out of your mouth should be, great. When can we meet? And you need to schedule that appointment as soon as humanly possible. Why do you think I say that?
Because if you don't, somebody else will.
It's key to converting them, Bob. You're exactly right.
Behind you.
Exactly. And guess what? They might talk to you, and because I have fallen victim to this in the past. I'll talk with Jake. Jake says, yeah, I'm thinking about doing something. I'll say, awesome, here's the deal, man. I'm going to get your email address, and I'll follow up with you. We'll get something on the books. So I'm walking away thinking, okay, I've got this guy, right? Okay, I can. It's Wednesday. If I get to it by Friday, awesome. If not, I'll get to it Monday or Tuesday next week, whatever. Well, guess what Jake does this weekend? Yeah, he goes through an open house. He meets somebody else that hops on it with some urgency and converts him as a client. And I try to reach out to you.
Great. We can do this afternoon.
Absolutely. And I lose the business. The business was mine had I acted on it sooner with a sense of urgency, but because I didn't, I'm going to lose out on it, right? So this quote, I think, sums it up the most, especially for brand new agents. You have to be proactive. You cannot be reactive. If you run your business that way from day one and never give up on it, you will have a very healthy, successful real estate practice. But you have to be proactive. A lot of people get into this business with the mindset of, I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to lead generator, prospect, or cold call or whatever. That's fine. There are other ways to do it, but you have to stay proactive on your business. If you get a property under contract, you have 3 or 4 pending, that's not a cause to pause and celebrate. That means, great, I've got some future business I know is in the pipeline. What am I doing now to keep the pipeline full? I have to stay proactive. Prospecting or seeking leads is the most immediate and cost-effective way to build your business. It's the most immediate and cost-effective way to build your business. Prospecting is a contact sport. It takes a personal approach. It's about personal relationships, which is why we preach the database, and making the contacts, because the contacts are what develop and strengthen that relationship, right? When you hear me up here talking about prospecting and contacts, this, that, and the other, it's not because I'm running a cold-hearted machine up here. It's all designed about deepening and strengthening relationships with people. It's coming from contribution. It's doing nice things. That's what it's about, right? So make your focus building and strengthening the relationship. Some agents mistakenly think prospecting is trying to talk somebody into something. That's not the case. This is not a car dealership. No, I have nothing against guys that work car dealerships, but I'm not trying to talk you into buying a car. I'm not trying to talk you into buying a home, right? If they need your services, you're there to offer it. It's that simple. Here's the deal, Leanne. I know you might not be looking to buy a home today, tomorrow, or even a year from now, but if and when the time comes, I want to be the agent that you hire for the job.
Okay.
So the relationship that we develop is what's more important to me than anything. Marketing, attracting leads. Marketing is a passive, indirect, and costly approach. That's what I want you to take in that paragraph down there. In contrast to the paragraph above, where it's the most immediate, cost-effective way to build your business. Page 15. A mix of the two, prospecting and marketing, is what makes for a strong lead generation system. When applied to the two general target populations, which is Mets and Habit Mets, your actions of prospecting and marketing enable you to better convert them to appointments and subsequently close the transaction. Page 16. I love the headline of this page because this is how you need to think of your business. Your business is prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Prospecting based foundation and marketing enhanced. A little bit of leverage. The combination of the two will increase your return on investment. If you're doing phenomenal prospecting and you're investing as well in some wise marketing, that's going to help you. Because if you just market and you don't prospect, you might see some success. But if you're investing in marketing and you're prospecting diligently, well, what are you doing? You're increasing the chances of your marketing being successful, which is increasing your ROI. You're literally milking every dime you spend on marketing for the most you possibly can, right? I'm going to go to page 17. Nikki, of a team in Florida, has sold more than 200 homes a year for the last 6 years. Do you think you can learn something from this lady? 200 homes a year for the last 6 years. Let's see what she has to say. She believes in a balance of prospecting and marketing. Some trainers in real estate say that all you have to do is prospect for new business. Don't call past customers or build relationships. Others say forget prospecting and just call your friends and past customers. Still others will say focus on marketing yourself. But according to the lady who does 200 homes a year for 6 years in a row, if you're doing all three things and one falls through, you still have two parts of your business to carry out. So what is she saying? Absolutely. You've got to be engaging in multiple strategies consistently to maximize your results, and oh, by the way, protect yourself and insulate yourself from subtle shifts in the market. Is there a shift on the horizon in the real estate market? I sense one coming. I don't think it's going to be terrible. I still think there's going to be a healthy market and plenty of business to go on. But what's happening right now? Yeah. What has the stock market done recently? We talked about this a little bit last week. It went down, then it came back, then it went down, right? It's doing its stock market thing.
Correction.
It is. It's correcting. What were a couple, like, what was the thing that caused the market to correct the most? Say again? Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Part of it. But it was actually a good thing from our standpoint. Information was released a week or two ago about wages. What did it have to say about wages? That's okay. Anybody recall? They went up. Great news, right? For the most part, absolutely. It caused some people to freak out about inflation a little bit, though, which is why we saw the market do what it did, and it's caused interest rates to go up a tad, right? So good thing, wages are going up. That's awesome news, but that impacted the market in a couple of other ways. Interest rates we've been talking about interest rates going up for how long?
2 years.
At least 3 to 4 years. At least now we're actually seeing it. They're starting to tick up, right? That's going to have an impact on the market. It's having an impact on the economy overall. So if we're building a business engaged in multiple forms of lead generation, marketing, prospecting, etc., we're maximizing our opportunity to be in front of people to win business, even when the market is doing subtle reactions, changes, and shifts to what's occurring. It's the best way to hedge your bets, so to speak. It's not that you guys need to be worried about anything like that. If you look toward the bottom of the page on 17, the emphasis is on prospecting. Make prospecting the first priority, and you're simply enhancing it with additional marketing. Page 18. Marketing supports prospecting. Marketing validates you. It creates recognition and reputation. People may see your signs or flyers before they meet you and feel like they already know you. Therefore, you want your marketing of yourself, your branding, so to speak, to call attention to you and attract people to you. People will form impressions of you quickly, so your marketing should represent who you are and the professionalism and customer value you bring to every aspect of your business. This is the old adage. What's the old adage about first impression? Yeah, you've only got one chance at a first impression, and most people, they form their judgment or their opinion within seconds. And oftentimes, it's without you communicating anything other than the image that you present, right? So you have to ask yourself, in every marketing piece that you do, any type of marketing that you're doing, you have to ask yourself, what message am I sending? Not only what message am I sending or communicating with the words that are being utilized or advertised, but with the entire image that's being presented, period. What am I displaying? And oh, by the way, what's faster to process, the image that you see or reading words? The image. So think about it that way too. If I'm communicating in pictures or images, how am I doing that? A great example of how marketing can really work is the branding of the McKissick team in Denton, Texas. Pictures of Jimmy and Linda McKissick featured them giving a thumbs up after a while random strangers in the grocery store, video rental store, doctor's waiting room began giving them the thumbs up. It took a few times for Jimmy and Linda to connect the dots and realize their brand marketing was a success. You will learn more about this in the next session we talk about as well. So, ask yourself, what can you play off? Like, Bob, you got a great branding strategy. He's kind of come up with a cartoon personality
With a thumbs up.
with thumbs up, which is awesome. And what does my duck happen to be doing too? It's got thumbs up. That was before I read this, so we're trending.
Me too.
We're right on the trend, Bob. And Bob, what is the slogan that you use?
Buying or selling a dwelling, call on all
It's memorable, right? So think about it. What are you doing you have to ask yourself, how can I make it the easiest possible for somebody to remember me or recognize me or my marketing? Right? A logo is one, which ties to branding. And then if you can come up with some sort of slogan that's short, sweet, catchy, or memorable, that's going to help you as well. Page 19. Don't fall for the myth, I don't have the money to lead generate. Invest your time in prospecting and lead with revenue. You can start prospecting today with a list of people on your phone. It takes zero money to lead generate. Page 20, that would be a homework assignment. Take a look at that, prospecting versus marketing, the amount of time devoted, the amount of money spent on marketing. Jake, this would be a great exercise for you to do in relation to some of the advertising you pay for and outwardly. Just take a look, how much am I doing on prospecting, how much am I spending on marketing, and then see where you are and track your ROI a little bit. Page 21. You can be the brightest, smartest, most well-educated real estate person there is, but if nobody calls you, it just doesn't matter. You can have the forms and the contracts memorized forward and backward, but if you don't have any clients to utilize them with, that knowledge is useless, right? The takeaway is this. There's only one thing that matters, and that's you finding clients. Make that your focus every single day. In the first session that we had last week, you learned a basic lead generation myth that if you do a good job, people will just come to you. They will just naturally find you. That's wrong. Your reputation is an important foundation for your business, and certainly some people will be attracted to you and find you because of your reputation and your marketing efforts. However, not enough will, and not soon enough, to build or sustain your business. This is a passive approach that will be unreliable no matter how strong your reputation is. So myth one was prospecting equals cold calling equals rejection. And the truth that we actually related it to was that prospecting is simply meeting people and building business relationships so you can build a strong real estate business. On a Keller Williams Maps call on prospecting, an informal poll was taken of 162 people that were on the call. The poll revealed that approximately 78% of them prospect less than 1 hour a day. One reason they gave was they didn't know what to say. The other reason was that they see prospecting as cold calling. Yes, sir.
Oh, I was gonna say the other thing that kills me, you weren't actually asking, but I just.
No, that's good. I want it.
Is that the time blocking? I know that it's such a word that we use, but it's so hard to do that. It's just hard to do that with kids, with stuff that comes out, meetings that come out certain times.
So Nick, let me say that real quick, because as a guy with 2 kids, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I couldn't say that about a week and a half ago. Time blocking is easy. Time blocking is easy. Holding ourselves accountable to our time, that's the difficult part, right? Or can be. And I've gotten better with time blocking for a couple of reasons. Number one, I sort of had to. The busier that I've gotten, as the family grows, for example, the more diligent I have to be about time blocking, and the more I have to get out of my time. I have to be more productive. Right? So time blocking is when I look at my personal business and the results that it's yielded and how it has changed over the years. Scripts and the focus on converting people to appointments has been one major thing that impacted my business substantially. The second one is mastering that schedule. It's never perfect for me anyway, but holding yourself accountable to that schedule and living and breathing it is what it's going to take to actually start making that progress and moving forward. I know it can be difficult, but really the difficulty that we experience with time blocking is a self-discipline and accountability and a habits thing. You know what I mean? Your time blocking, ideally the way we teach it is from about 9 to 11 or 9 to noon every day, but it can be whatever you need it to be, whatever your individual schedule needs it to be, so long as you're doing that dedicated 3 hours daily. I don't care if it's 9 to 11, I don't care if it's 1 to 3, I don't care when it is, as long as you're doing it consistently. That's the big thing. So your Mondays might look different from your Tuesdays, which might look different from your Wednesdays. That's okay, so long as you got each day planned out. Or if you're anything like me, I always have two sets of calendars with me. I've got the current week and I've got the next week, right? Because I'm working my current week and I'm still putting stuff on that, depending on what pops up. And then I know in the conversations that I'm having or the appointments that I'm setting, I'm setting them into the next week, right? So I always have those 2 working things with me. And what that allows me to do is be a little bit better about not double booking into that time that I've set aside for, you know, whatever activities I need to be doing, right? Like teaching today, for example. So that's one method that I've utilized. And I've also realized that a lot of times people will work around your schedule. It's just all about how you phrase it. So I used to just say, Jake, you want to see a house? Great, what works for you? You would tell me, and then I would push the pause button, rearrange my entire schedule so I could go show Jake a house. And then Jake would tell me, oh, by the way, I already have an agent. In which case I would probably say some swear words. No, just kidding. But I stopped doing that, and what I started doing was, hey, Jake, that's awesome. I'm available this day at this time or this day at this time. Which one of those work for you? Guess what? That's normal behavior. People aren't going to freak out when you do that. They're not going to say, I can't work with this guy. They're going to say, they won't say this, but they're going to think to themselves, oh, that's a very reasonable thing for a professional to do. He's available this day and this day, right? If that doesn't work, just let me know, and we'll think of some other time if we can make it happen, right? But don't be hesitant to say, hey, that's awesome. This I can do this day, this day. Give them a couple options. I usually will give 2 or 3 options, but they're all conducive to my schedule. The trick is when you're so busy that you're giving multiple people a few options, so you have to make sure that, you know, if I give both these guys the same options and they both try to take me up on the same option, well, now I've got to deconflict some stuff, right? But I'll do that all the time too. Don't be afraid to make this kind of a phone call. Hey, Jake, okay, so let's say I just talked to Nick. I've been trying to set an appointment with Nick for over a year, and I finally get him on the phone, and he says, hey, Zach, I can take you up. I'm heading out of town. I'm going to be gone for a month. This is like real world for Nick. He's going to be gone for a month traveling the world. And I can do noon on Friday. And then Saturday morning, I'm getting on a plane. I won't be back for a month. Well, here's the problem. I've already got an appointment set with Jake at noon on Friday. Crap. So what would most people do? Well, frick. I guess I'll try to reach him when he gets back from wherever he's going trip-wise versus doing a phone call like this. Hey, Jake, it's Zach over at Keller Williams. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Hey, I'm hoping you can do me a favor. I double booked myself this Friday at noon. Is there any chance we can maybe meet, 10 o'clock Friday morning or 1 or 2 in the afternoon on Friday? Would that work for you still?
Yeah, we can do 10 o'clock.
Awesome. Hey, I really appreciate you being flexible with me, Jake. That's awesome. I'll see you then. Hey, Nick, we're on for 12 Friday. I appreciate it. Is Jake pissed at me? Yeah. Can we do stuff like that? Yeah, just do it. Just do it. It's too easy. We sometimes overthink it. Oh my gosh, if I call Jake, I'm gonna blow it. No, he'll do what most reasonable people do, which is, okay, yeah, no, I get that. That's fine. Yeah, let's just pick another day and time. That's great. Now I can still get in on with Nick before he leaves for the month, right? The guy I've been trying to get in touch with for years. The same with listing appointments and buyer consultations, right? Come with options. And don't be afraid to do a little bit of rescheduling if you have to. Don't just throw in the white towel and say, oh gosh, I can't do it, right? Just rework it a little bit. Okay. Page 22, the last 2 paragraphs. Adopt a new mindset about prospecting. See it in a new light and get excited about doing it at its highest level. This instructor says, when I teach lead generation, I say the P word, prospecting, is not a dirty word. It's just picking up, it's not just picking up the phone, it's getting involved in networking groups and in volunteer situations. It's making a point to meet people every single day. Which brings me back to the last statement on page 21. The reason that only 78% prospect in less than an hour is they see prospecting as cold calling. Prospecting is so much more than cold calling. Cold calling is like a tiny, maybe like less than 1% of prospecting. Let's look at the word prospect for a minute, or prospecting. What does that even mean? What is the definition?
Turning up your business.
Yeah, finding new business. What else?
A prospector is someone that goes out and looks or searches.
For what? Opportunities or business, right? Future income, right? So I think because we use the word prospecting, we sometimes do ourselves a disservice because it has some negative connotations associated. If I said, hey, I want you to spend every morning looking for future business. I want you to spend every morning generating future income for yourself. I want you to spend every morning searching for business opportunities. Do you think more people would be like, oh, well, that seems to make sense? I want you to spend every morning networking. I want you to spend every morning just meeting new people. I want you to spend every morning introducing yourself to at least 10 to 20 different people with no expectation other than just to introduce yourself, have a conversation, and strike up a relationship. Those are all forms of prospecting. So don't just think that when you hear the word prospecting, we're talking about calling for sale by owners or expireds. That's a very, very tiny, tiny portion. And if I'm being honest with you, that's not how I built my business. I didn't build my business calling for sale by owners and expireds. I've done it a little bit here and there. I don't think I've ever I've maybe listed 1 or 2 expireds from cold calling because it hasn't been a focus of mine, because I doubled down on where I wanted my focus to be, which was my database. And it's helped me hit my goals. And it's the easiest one to double down on, in my humble opinion. Right? If I get to a point where I've literally squeezed everything I can out of my database, well, then I'm going to start looking at for sale by owners and expireds more purposefully. And I'll figure out what I need to do to get more dangerous at those if I want to supplement or find more sources of business. When in reality, if I want to grow my business more, what do you think I'm going to focus on? Growing my database. Growing my database. Your job every morning should simply be, how can I add 10 to 20 more people to my database every day? Because if you do that 5 days a week for an entire year, you're going to add a few hundred people annually, right? And I'm going to go over some statistics later that show you for every certain number of people in your database you're actively marketing to, you can expect to get X amount of deals annually, which will show you it's truly a numbers game. Prospecting is more than phone calling strangers. Sure, cold calling for sale by owners and expired listings can be a successful form of prospecting, but you will learn other effective ways of prospecting in upcoming power sessions, like holding open houses, seminars, door knocking, visiting past customers, etc. Myth number 2, prospecting means contacting people you don't know. Not right. Prospecting means contacting people you know as well as those you don't know. Last paragraph of page 23. There are many examples of very successful agents who, in the beginning, grew the number of METs in their database to a sustainable level, and now only prospect to their METs. They're only prospecting or advertising or marketing to people that they know. For example, Dick Dillingham, a very successful agent in Texas, grew his database of METs from 300 to more than 3,000. He decided to focus only on METs and generate business from those he already knew. In the growth phase of your career, it's recommended you build your database by prospecting to those you don't know as well as those you already know. So here is the gauntlet I would throw down to you. If you focus on one thing in 2018, make it this. Wherever your database is right now, if it's under 1,000, make your goal to get it to 1,000 as quick as you can in 2018. If it's already over 1,000, make your goal to get it to 2,000. If you're already over 2,000, make it your goal to get to 3,000. Now, I'm not talking crap, not crap stuff, people that you know and have conversations with, or that you can get into a regular relationship with. Because here's what I know. If you build a database that has 1,000 people in it of your METs that you're consistently marketing to and staying in touch with, you're going to solve your problems when it comes to your real estate business. So make that your first goal. How can I get to 1,000 as soon as possible? And then once you get to 1,000, make the next goal 2,000. And then make the next goal 3,000. And you can work backward and do the math and figure out how many people do I need to be adding on a daily basis to my database to hit that goal per year. And then just make that the one thing you focus on in the morning. So that you know, okay, every working day for me, I just need to meet 10 new people, have a conversation with them, and get their permission to stay in touch and start actively marketing to them when it comes to real estate. Is that doable? Is it pretty easy? Not only is it easy to do, it actually might be somewhat enjoyable, right? Sure, great.
About, oh gosh, I've been just trying to, we get this database and we want to reach these people with content that's readable and enjoyable and it's worthy,
Right.
Instead of them just throwing their crap in the trash. Oh gosh, don't do that.
Sorry.
That freaks me out. Oh.
I've been sleeping terribly, so.
Oh, sorry. So content, for example, our KW #1 and all this stuff. What would be some really good topical articles that we could really, I hate just giving people junk, you know? And you don't want to give them so much that they're like, oh, I don't want to talk, I don't want to listen, I don't want to hear, and I don't want to, you know, I'm just over this, you know?
Yeah.
And you don't want to give them Keller Williamson's one, you know, all of that so much, but I'm kind of thinking, what would be an appropriate thing to reach out to a client base on a quarterly level in a newsletter, you know, or some type of a letter that you're not doing email, paper mail, you know?
Well, so here, I'll answer your question right now, and this is what I do. This is what we do quarterly. I'm just not even gonna try to spell it, I just already screwed it up.
It's okay, Jack.
I can't spell and you can't talk, so we're good. We're a good combination. We should go on appointments together. We doubled down, and probably 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, for years and years, I'd heard people talk about client events. We do these events, they do wonders for our business. And back when I was solo, I just never had the time to get around to it. And 1 year I said, hey, we're doing these events. I don't care. I want to do this event, this event, this event, this event. You guys plan it and market it, whatever. If you're looking to do one thing quarterly that you can get a lot out of, that will develop meaningful relationships and gives you a reason to communicate with people, plan one client event per quarter. Leanne, email Kelly again.
Okay.
clientcare@teamluckyduck.com. We do more than one event per quarter, and if you want to know what we do, ask Kelly. She'll give you the email templates, how we do everything, Eventbrite stuff, graphics, everything.
Client care.
Yep, client care, just one word altogether. Don't overthink it. So let's talk about that one example you brought up about Keller Williams #1. Okay, here's the deal. So if I were just to email everybody and say, hey, FYI, Keller Williams is #1, we're the best. Do business with me. Is that effective?
No.
Not really. Somewhat effective, but not really. It's an effective reminder that you're in business. But here's how I would recommend. You always have to think in the message that I'm communicating. I want them to take away that I'm with the company that's the best in the industry, hands down. I want that to be one of the takeaways, right? But how am I communicating that in a way that's relevant to them or makes them it's more engaging? So what do you think is the way that I could do that? Did anybody see my announcement that I posted about us being #1?
Yeah.
Do you remember what the content of that post was? That's okay. I used saying thank you as the means to communicate the fact that we were #1.
And that was my thought too, you know,
Yeah.
hey, I just want to reach out to all my past clients and really want to acknowledge and thank you so much for being a part of my business. It's made us as a team or as a company
Absolutely.
#1 in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
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 That's huge.
It is huge, and that's the kind of thing that
Yeah.
that's
That's
what I'm
not
trying
going
to
to
get.
gag your clients. and-
Exactly,
Yeah.
because you're thanking them.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody out there in the world doesn't like to be thanked, right? Unless you're doing it like Katie loves to be thanked, but if I did it in public in front of an entire room, she might not like that, right? So, but it's about I want to send a strategic message, or I want to send a strategic takeaway, but I need to package it in a way that lets people put their guard down and they're receptive to it. So that can sound like this, and I would even shoot a video and say, hey, everybody, it's Leanne over at Keller Williams. You're getting this message because I am so absolutely thankful for you and for the support you've given our business. Keller Williams, a company that we're with, was recently recognized as the #1 company across the board of our industries, largely thanks to people like you, our clients who support our business every day and every year. And if I haven't said it to you personally, I want to take a minute to do it now and just thank you so much for the support that you've given us. We've got another goal set aggressively for 2018. We're looking to help even more families find the homes of their dreams. Please, if you know of folks, feel free to reach out. We promise to take great care of you. Again, thank you so much. Is that a very sincere message? Did I gloat to saying, hey, we're #1, we're #1?
No.
No, I said, hey, thank you so much for helping us get there.
Without you, it wouldn't be possible.
Exactly.
So,
That's the kind of stuff we're looking for, right? But when I circle back to client appreciation events, if you do one per quarter, let's say that we're going to host one event per quarter. So let's just look at one quarter. Let's do quarter 1. Let's say that we can utilize the contact at the event as, one piece of our communication. But let's say conservatively, running up to the actual event, I send out, let's say I send out 2 emails, right? I send out an introductory email saying, hey, we've got this coming up, save the date. I send out a secondary email that's kind of a reminder closer to the event. Let's say I also share a video on Facebook about the event, advertising it coming up. Let's say I also include it in the newsletter that goes out to people. And let's say I do 1 follow-up email afterward, thanking people that came. So for 1 event in 1 quarter, how many? Let's just call it 5. How many touches did I throw out there for just 1 event? 5. Now let's say I held 4 of those a year. How many contacts have I had? I've already done 20 of my 33. Okay. So I'm already more than halfway done with my 33 touch campaign. And oh, by the way, it's been meaningful because what am I doing? I'm not inviting you to a home buying seminar, or I'm not door knocking you, I'm not doing this or the other. I am offering an item of value. Come to my free pie giveaway. Come to my free giveaway for Valentine's Day. Come to Photos with Santa. Blah, 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 right? All great items of value, which, oh, by the way, are extremely low cost. I can leverage our location to do it. And it's meaningful. People love and appreciate that. And oh, by the way, they'll market it, they'll share it. The Photos with Santa that we did this year, we ended up getting one of our Christmas cards from our clients. Guess which photo they used on their Christmas card? Photo with Santa, sponsored by us. Do you think we're giving value to those people? Do you think we're the only agents they ever think of when it comes to real estate? Do you think they're apt to refer us? Do you think they welcome a phone call when we reach out to them? Do you think they're okay when we say, hey, if you come across anybody, we'd be happy to help them? Yeah, because they're actually motivated to put people in touch with us because they want their friends and family to experience the same stuff. So that's how you change it. That's how you have meaningful touches with your database. Not the, hey, I'll get you in a second, Bob. Not this is what the market's doing. This is what interest rates are. That's all good stuff. You want to have that stuff, but I wouldn't make it your overwhelming approach to marketing. Ask yourself, who am I? What am I? What? How do people know me? What's my reputation? What do I have fun with? And then use that as your strength. Yes, sir.
Do you in Burnsville or Lakeville have anything where a bunch of agents get together?
Yes.
To do one thing?
Yeah, a couple of them. So the Photos with Santa. So it started. So I'm going to take a little bit of credit for this, and I know this is being recorded, but I'll take a little bit of credit. So the first year, Team Lucky Duck, we did a Halloween thing at our office in Burnsville. We sponsored it. We invited our people. They came and they did it. So then the next year, we opened it up to other agents. We said, hey, we're going to do this again. If you want to take part in it, let us know, because we could divide the labor, right, and the setup and all that. So we had, I think, 3 or 4 other agents take us up on it. So then, like, we did it for 1 or 2 years where a group of agents started doing events. Well, then I think all of a sudden the office realized, well, we as an office could be getting in on this and doing it, right? So it's still a handful of agents. We do the Halloween thing, but then the office this year, because we did the Christmas drop-in shop as Team Lucky Duck for at least 2 years on our own, and the office this year said, well, we'll coordinate photos for Santa. And then all the agents, you can invite people to it if you want to. So that's we kind of set that trend a little bit. But you can go to Debbie Benson and Tamara Graham in our office. They and Lori Megan sometimes too, I think, combine and do events co-hosted here. And here's the deal: your people don't have to know that you partnered with another agent to do it. Right? It's all of your marketing. And then the great thing is when they show up and there's a lot of people here, sometimes they make the assumption that they're all your clients, right? So that's definitely doable.
Just still in the brainstorming stages of they're doing something, of Sturgill, 4th of July.
Absolutely.
Get a big vehicle, trailer or something, you know, banners, you know, worth that they're number one. Try to get as many agents to be there as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And they don't always have to be on site at the office. Well, one of the things we do is an off-site picnic thing at Como Zoo. Does anybody know how much it costs to go to Como Zoo?
While since I've been there.
It's free, baby. It's free.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
So guess what?
I can afford it.
Yeah, so we get a pavilion, we provide food, we're right by Como Zoo, which, oh, by the way, people can go to for free, right? So I don't have to, I try to park myself next to, if we're gonna do an event like that, places people can go that they would probably already normally go to. Just so happens that we're here, we organized it, we'll give you some lunch while you're there.
Just hit the conservatory and all that.
Absolutely.
Eat and go in there.
Okay. Jake, we'll see you a little bit later, buddy.
See you later.
Thank you.
Page 24, myth number 3. Prospecting is what you do to launch your business. Only new agents have to prospect. And prospecting is what you do to keep your real estate business running and growing. You should never stop prospecting. According to the National Association of Realtors profile of home buyers and sellers, only 22% of sellers and 12% of buyers already have an agent they will use. That means there's plenty of business out there for you to go after. So let me rephrase that another way. Just over 75% of sellers do not have an agent. Nearly 90% of buyers do not have an agent. So you have a 90% chance. I'm not phrasing that correctly. If you look at all the buyers out there, 90% of them are unspoken for. You have a chance at them. It's nearly 75% of all sellers. So don't fall victim to the mentality that, oh, there's just not any business out there, oh, it's all spoken for, they already know agents. No, the statistics show you. The general consumer, the person of the public that you run into, more often than not, does not have an agent that they will already go to, which is why building your database is huge. Because the more people that you meet and get in front of and that you convert to part of the 22% or the 12% for you, is going to substantially increase your business. There's nobody out there hustling for clients like Keller Williams agents. So if you get out there and hustle for the client and work to win them and have a sense of urgency, you'll convert them, which is, oh, by the way, how we became number 1. We made it our focus, right? If at any point in time you begin to realize, you start doubting lead generation and, oh, it just really sucks and I don't like doing it. Well, how do you think our company became number 1? We're the only one that really talks about lead generation, which has made our agents productive, which has allowed us to achieve the number 1 benchmarks, right? Other companies will say, come on in, you can be a part of our company, good luck to you, right? Which is fine, but if you want to go someplace that's going to teach you and motivate you and help you be productive, come on down. We're ready to work with you. Question is, are you ready to work? Okay, page 25. This is another interesting look at some statistics. The top chart. Take a look at more stats on how buyers and sellers choose an agent. How people choose an agent. They use the agent who contacted them. 4% buyers, 4% sellers. They use the agent referred to them by a friend or relative. 40% nearly for both of them. That's how they found their agent. Use the same agent they used before. 12% for buyers, 22% for sellers. So let's look at that a different way. The next chart. How people choose you based on your prospecting. Prospecting to have not mets. People that you don't know yet. Well, you might get about 4% of the buyers, you might get about 4% of the sellers. Mets, people that you already know or people that you know referring you will get you about 40% of your buyers and 40% of your sellers. Past customers, about 12 to 22%. Now, those numbers can be increased substantially, but look at that. If you look at numbers 2 and 3 in both categories, and if you add them together, over half of them come from things that you would be doing if you focus on your database. Over half come from past customers or people that you already know or are asking you to refer people to. So if that's not your biggest takeaway, I don't know what is. What you need to do is double down on the people that you already know, continue to build those relationships, ask for referrals, and keep adding relationships like that into your business or your database. That should be your one and only focus. How do I build my database with great relationships, people that will refer me business or do business with? That is it in a nutshell. Page 26, prospecting. Inexpensive, yields immediate results, puts you in control of filling your pipeline, increases your confidence and skill, yields quality leads, keeps you in direct contact with the market, and protects against market shifts. So now we're going to hit some high points on the following pages. Page 27. Prospecting is inexpensive and yields immediate results. Control of your pipeline. I already talked about these. I want to highlight Smokey Garrett's story on page 28, though. Smokey knows, which, by the way, is a pretty sweet name. He knows the value of time on task. When I started out, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was saying, but I don't think you can really become successful in this industry without just going and doing it. No matter how many scripts you practice and how many things you do, it is not going to replace you being at the door or you being on the phone and communicating with customers. I wasn't very good at first, but I was motivated to succeed. I didn't wait until I knew how to call on people. I just did it, made mistakes, and learned from them. You just have to go after the business. Page 31. Steps to prospecting. Approach. Have the right mindset to how you're approaching it. Be proactive, be willing to break the ice, be friendly, caring, most importantly, be real, be curious about them and their concerns, be ready to give positive feedback, be confident in your pace and posture, and be ready to connect. What are your thoughts or ahas or takeaways on that?
I think just your attitude, positive attitude. You know, the people out there that need our help, and pretty much it.
Yeah.
You need to be really focused on, I am the best person to help you.
Right.
Convey
And sometimes you have to remind yourself why. Because is anybody
mind
here?
game.
Yeah. Have you ever doubted yourself?
I doubt it.
Never. Well played, sir. Sometimes like, man, maybe I'm not the right person. Or ooh, gosh, I've never listened to him at that price before. Can I have that? You know what I mean? Commercial. Oof, haven't done one yet. Or oof, the price point. Ooh, this business. I don't know. Is it doable? The answer is yes. It's absolutely doable, and somebody will do it. Question is, will that somebody be you? And it might mean maybe you bring on some partners. Right? Maybe ask some questions. Maybe you book some time with somebody and say, hey, I'm looking to do this. Can you help me? Right? Or maybe it means you refer it. Right? You can still have the opportunity to make some money. But a lot of it is about the mindset you're bringing to it. And have you ever heard the phrase power networking? What is power networking?
Getting together with my like-minded people that you can really divide and conquer more.
Right. And what about the term speed networking? You heard that before? What's that? Connections. Yeah. I would encourage you to speed lead generate. Right. Speed lead generate. It's a lot like I've learned, because here's what would happen. When I would make my phone calls, and this is what I used with Jake earlier, I'd make my calls. If these are people that you already know, like, and they like you, but chances are you might want to do some catching up. And some people, their idea of catching up is like 30 minutes to an hour. My idea of catching up is like 30 seconds, right? So you have to figure out what are some scripts, or how do I approach that with people to make sure I'm staying on point, can get through my contacts and my lead generation without offending people or seeming like I'm just calling just to talk business, right? Well, you notice some of what I did with Jacob. What was it?
Sandwiched in personal questions, but yeah.
And I said things like, hey, Nick, here's the deal. I know you're probably super busy. This will just take a second. What I'm really saying is, hey, man, I'm super busy. I just only have a second to talk to you, right? Coming from a place of love, I'm looking to maintain a relationship, help them, and help anybody they know. But I also know if I open that can of worms and just say, so how are you? How have things been? I might get myself into a dangerous position where I got to fake. I lost you, right? Because we're going on for 20 minutes and I got other people to talk to, right? So keep that in mind. And that relates to being willing to break the ice sometimes too. So you're out at an open house, you're talking with people, or it's really busy. Just go for it. Just say, hey, here's the deal. I want you to know that if and when you're looking for an agent to help buy a home, I'd love to apply for the job. Here's my card. I promise to take great care of you and help you out any way that I can. There's nothing wrong with that. Just throw it out there. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question about, finding houses that are abandoned maybe.
Okay.
Have you ever like looked up who owns the houses on the property tax and like how would you possibly, like if you know some place has been there for a while?
Yeah.
Do you know what I
So
mean? Like,
we have done that.
I'm just curious. I've never heard of other people doing that, but I tend to, because I'm.
It's all about
I always
the
want
message.
to know who owns a house that sits there empty.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, what would I say to these people?
Yeah.
You know, like.
It's all about the message. Usually, so finding the phone number is tricky, but you can usually find the mailing address.
Right.
And so we'll just direct mail them something.
Right.
An example
So
of that would be
Wouldn't you direct mail them? And
whatever you're looking to do.
A letter.
Well, just
Hey.
something that, you know, the market's hot right now. I know that your house has been empty for 3 years.
Yeah, I would
you like to match?
I would focus on that. You know,
Yeah.
if I would focus on, you know, what's likely the pain point or what would likely be the motivation for them selling, and then I would have a marketing piece catered specifically to that I sent them. It might sound something like, you know, are you tired of the hassle that comes with owning a home and being out of state?
Right.
Let me
Because usually if they're out of state.
Yeah,
then
let me
why?
help you with that. And I say this because Carly, this last year, she did a great job in a particular townhome development where she sold 3 townhome units in the same development, all within the course of a few months together. And I said, you guys need to circle prospect every townhome in that development because they all sold multiples for over list price. Said you need to send a mailer out to every person that owns a property in that development and let them know what you just did.
Yeah.
And what they did is they didn't just mail the addresses, they pulled the records of who owned them. So one of the mailers ended up down in Texas, and Carly got a text message last week from the lady and said, hey, you sent us a postcard a few months ago where we have a renter in that unit, now we want to sell it, you know, and then now they have a conversation going because she looked up the person on the tax record that
Right.
owned it
Right.
versus the person. Because if the renter got it, what do you think they would have done?
Right.
They would have burned
That's
it.
why you go to the owner
Right.
of the tax
Right.
roll.
Right. So, and when you do that, you speak to what it is you think that one would want them to sell. So we were speaking to the fact that you could get top dollar for the property.
Right.
And
Well,
that we had
because
that
the
track
market's
record.
really good right now.
Absolutely.
So that they're empty. It's like, what are the things that might convince them to
Right.
sell it, being from a whole other state, not knowing me?
So if I was designing a marketing piece for that situation, I would probably have, you know, a catchy headline that said something like, you know, tired of the hassle of being an out-of-state owner or something.
Sure.
And then 3 to 5 bullet points that maybe ask some powerful questions like, you know, would you like to maximize how much you get for your home? Would you like to be
Right.
stress-free? Blah, you know, some things that just get their mind spinning and pique their interest.
Right. Good.
Absolutely. Page 33, connect. Be a giver, always come from contribution. Listen, offer help, take pride in your work, respond quickly, offer guidance, prepare, give service, anticipate. Page 34, how to connect after approaching. Ask for their name, show that you care, show gratitude, offer compliments, be curious about them, introduce the topic of real estate. Ask open-ended questions, ask them about their life, connect with Ford, family, friends, occupation, recreation, dreams. Page 35, if you give somebody something, they often feel compelled to give you something in return. Or I like using the phrase, I know you would do the same for me. Like if I'm gonna do somebody a solid or something like that, and I'll often clue in there, here's the deal, blah, 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 because I know you would do the same for me. That's like a Minnesota guilt trip, passive aggressive, you know, if I'm scratching your back, you better be scratching my back. And I might do that with a lender. Hey, Bob Lender, I'm sending you some folks to get pre-approved because I know you would do the same for me if you came across somebody looking to buy a house. What did I just tell Bob in a very nice way? Better start referring to people, right? Page 37, ask. Are you or someone you know thinking of buying, selling, or investing in real estate in the near future? There are many scripts you can practice that will help you get to this question, but ultimately, this is the one you need to remember. Remember that asking is a numbers game. If the answer to your question is no, do not despair. You may have to get through a lot of no's to get to each yes. In fact, every no is a path to yes. And if you ask more times, you will eventually get a yes. If you don't invest much in the answer, it will take, if you don't invest much in the answer, it will make it easier to ask. And if they say no about themselves personally, that's fine. You can set up the path of a referral. Page 38 has a couple different ways you can ask. Page number 39, get their contact information. You want phone and email at a minimum. Go for the direct mailing address too, if you really want. Page 41, 3 ways to connect: calling, visiting, or attending/hosting events. Leanne, I really think, like, you know what you can do? You can do a quarterly wine tasting. Does that fit with what people already know about you? Yeah, quarterly wine tasting. And does that sound fun? Is that something you would probably do anyway?
Call Tessa, she'll do it for you. She'll
Yeah.
plan the whole thing.
Do whatever Nick's talking about. And by the way, it's a business write-off. Write off your love of wine. I'm going to partner with somebody called Aaron Perleberg. He's also a wine aficionado. Who to call? This is on page 42. Expired listings, FSBOs, referrals, website inquiries in your database. Pages 43, 44, and 45 all give you more specifics about those. Cold versus warm versus hot leads on page 47. Hot leads are the easiest to contact because the person is already ready, willing, and able to transact business. I need your help. You have the solution. Immediately book appointment. Immediately book an appointment. Warm calls are those made either to people you know or people you've received or have received some of your marketing pieces. These are relatively easy calls to make because you have a reason for calling. For example, you just send out an email to everybody in your database about an event. A couple days later, you might call and say, hey, Leanne, I just want to call and see if you got the information about that event we're having. That's a warm call. You just prepped the battlefield, as we would say in the Army, right? Yes, sir.
True or false, if you send out a flyer to a neighborhood, you then are allowed to call if they're on the do not call list?
That sounds like a booby trap question for me, Nick.
Well, I thought that as if you had contact with them in some way, calling in regards to, hey Zach, this is Nick from Keller Williams. I had sent out some postcards the other day, wanted to know if you had gotten that.
I would say you can play that game if you want to.
I
Okay.
don't know if you can you?
That's what I'm saying.
Because like in Florida, you can only contact someone if they're on the do not call list, they're for sale by owner and their number's posted.
Mhm.
Or if you've sold something or had contact with them, but had to be within 18 months.
Yeah, that's probably what you're talking about. But here's the deal. I'm not going to even get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think
And no one's gonna
you will likely find that you might not have an issue if you can say that, hey, no, I'm not calling you.
Let's tell you something.
Yeah, I'm calling you
Check
just to
Just
inform
see if
you.
you have the postcard.
Yeah, just to inform you about the homeless for sale in your neighborhood or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Cold calls, yep, people that you don't know. You haven't met yet. Page 48 talks about the do not call list, so knock yourself out. One of the fun things is, if you're focused on your database, people that you've met, you don't have to worry about the do not call list. Visiting, you can do pop buys, you can do Mayday baskets, there's all kinds of things you can utilize from a visiting standpoint. Door knocks, pop buys, random encounters, casual meetings. Sometimes it's okay to call and say, Bob, hey man, how you been? It's been a while since we've caught up. I'd love to treat you to a cup of coffee. What's your schedule like? Let's just catch up for a little bit, right? I remember one year, Carly and I made it a goal that said, let's go back, let's look at a lot of our clients, which ones refer us quite a bit, and let's make it a point that, once a month or once a week, we are going to lunch with or having coffee with people that we either A, want to reconnect with and strengthen the relationship, or B, we want to say thank you to for being so supportive, right? And it was just another way to lead generate and strengthen those relationships, and it was easy. Who to visit? FSBOs, expireds, a farm, apartment dwellers or renters, homeowners around an open house you plan to host, businesses, banks, builders. I mean, the list goes on and on. Join an organization of a group, Chamber of Commerce, associations, Toastmasters, Rotary Club. That's all lead generation, when you're at those events, building relationships and networking.
Could sponsor a little league team.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That gets you out there, especially if your kid's on the team.
That makes it even easier. Customer appreciation parties, page 57. Leanne, earmark this one. Everybody loves a good party. Customer parties are powerful lead generation and relationship building activity, especially if you have a lot of past customers or well-established network of people you know and may have influence with. Parties can be big, small, casual, formal, quiet, lively, whatever. If your focus is on community involvement and volunteer activities, make your parties charitable events. If you want to be known for your current or former athletic prowess, then give your parties a sports team, volleyball, softball. That's a weird thing to put in there. Host a housewarming for closed buyers. I love doing that. Send out invitations and be on hand to serve food and drink. All kinds of things you can do there. All right, I'm going to wind up the prospecting portion and shift over to the marketing. Last but not least, I'll finish with the quote on page 63. The thick-skinned fearlessness expected in salespeople is more fiction than fact. It turns out that many people are struggling with a bone-shaking fear of prospecting. This fear tends to persist regardless of what they sell, how well they have been trained to sell it, how they manage their time or set their goals, or how much they personally believe in their product's worth. Interacting with people and asking for business can be somewhat scary. It can be, it can cause anxiety. We're human beings. We know it's human nature, right? It's tough to do. But the beauty of it is, grow some thick skin and get over it, right? Because if I say, Leanne, are you looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate anytime soon? And she says no, what just happened?
I know.
Nothing happened.
You were told no.
I said, okay, hey,
Great to hear
thank
from
you so much. I appreciate you even thinking about it. If you do start thinking about doing a real estate transaction, could you do me a favor? Give me a call. I'd love to help you.
For anybody else you want to
Now we're talking.
I think the biggest thing of being new in business is hearing about, learning your scripts and prospecting and call your sphere and all that. It goes back to the old stereotype of a high pressure salesman.
Right.
They would either knock at the door or call on the phone to sell you a vacuum. You weren't leaving the door until you bought something.
Right.
So it's.
I would agree because we tell ourselves, well,
It makes you fearful, and I remember talking to my uncle about it, and he said when he was training people, people would tell no, and after the third or fourth no, he says they were almost on the phone in tears because people were telling them no.
Right.
You can't take it personally, just, they say no, great, instead of taking it personally, turn it around to where if you don't have anybody, send it my way, instead of, everybody's rejecting me.
You're 100% right, Bob. And because sometimes when we're doing that and we hear somebody say no, what's it?
I said nobody loves me.
Right. Well, when we hear somebody no, we are telling ourselves internally that person just told me no forever. No, they just said no, not right now. Right? It doesn't mean no forever. It means no, I'm not looking to do anything right now. Fantastic. I'm still going to stay in touch because chances are at some point you will do something. I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to stay in touch. And oh, by the way, I know you can still refer me people, right? So the no it's nothing. I'm trying to think of a good example. It's like when you go. Here's a great example. Like when you pull up to the drive-thru at McDonald's. They don't really do this anymore, but they used to ask you, yeah, good morning, welcome to McDonald's. Would you like to do a number one, blah, 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 blah? And what would most people say? No, I want this.
And you have to be persistent at it. I mean, Colonel Sanders got 1,009 no's before he got his first yes.
There you go.
I would have gone back, checked the recipe, but he kept going.
Yeah.
Where people say no, okay, you're not buying today.
Right.
Turn it around. If you know everybody, let me know. And hey, by the way,
Hey, I'm Zach McCutter Williams. Are you looking to do anything real estate related this year, or in the near future? No. Okay, awesome. No worries. Appreciate it. Is it okay if I stay in touch with you so that when you do decide to do something, you know a great agent that could take great care of you? Yeah. Or do you know of anybody right now? It's the same thing. Make the offer. A lot of people are going to say no, at least initially. That's fine. Getting that initial response is just getting your foot in the door. No? Okay, great. Well, here's what I'd like to do. Boom. Now you're staying in touch with building that relationship. Okay. Power session 3, marketing, page 5. Be a relentless marketer. Have you ever seen the movie Glengarry Ross? Excuse me, Glengarry Glen Ross. You've probably seen some scenes from it. It's a scene in which Alec Baldwin is saying coffee is for closers and stuff like that. 4 agents work for a troubled real estate company in the 1980s in Chicago. One night, the company delivers a challenge. The agents have to get as many sales as possible in one night using the company's tired, old set of leads. The person with the highest sales gets a Cadillac. The person with the second highest sales gets a set of steak knives. Everyone else gets fired. It's a great film. We won't spoil it for you, but I would like to underscore an important moral of the story, something that our company firmly believes in, which is the one who owns the leads owns the business. The agents in the movie are victims because they wait for the company to give them leads. They are passive and reactive instead of doing their own prospecting and marketing. They wait for leads to be given to them before they do anything, when in reality, they could be out finding their own leads. The key to success is to be alert, proactive, and empowered. To have an ongoing, dedicated lead generation program. Remember that this business is about you, the agent, promoting what you do on a relentless level. I like it. You have to be relentless about it. We discussed the main method of lead generation, prospecting, in the last session we just talked about. Now we're going to look at how you can maximize your lead generation by combining your prospecting with purposeful and consistent marketing. Page 8, what is marketing? It's a more passive form of lead generation. You send out a message in the hope that customers will come to you. The goal is to attract leads. The best marketing out there is marketing that's also being followed up with prospecting, right? You can, probably increase your results 10 times or more if you're also following up your marketing with prospecting. The goal is to attract leads. This is different from prospecting, where you go out personally, connect with customers either by phone or face-to-face. Common forms of marketing include direct mail, email, website, signs, billboards, radio, television, magazine. Power session 3. Power session 3, marketing. Go back to your original. Is this your zip? Is this a zippy joke? It's probably one of these. Power session 1, go to the next one. There you go, power session 3. Yep. There are 3 big challenges of marketing. It can be expensive. It's less personal and memorable sometimes than prospecting. It's less immediate in its results often. However, marketing has a couple of key benefits. It lets you leverage your time. You're exchanging money for time, right? I'm spending money on this marketing to try to reach as many people as possible instead of dedicating the time to put in the phone calls or knock on the doors, etc. It lets you reach a larger audience. Direct mail as the main lead generation tool just isn't cost effective for someone getting into the business. It's really hard for them to spend thousands of dollars every month sending out direct mail. And they can't keep up with the big teams that are pumping it out, right? Which is fine. You can work up to that through generating your business prospecting in a cost-effective way initially, and then using some of those funds to invest in marketing efforts. What are the benefits on page 9? Employ marketing selectively to both prime and reinforce your prospecting activities. Anytime you're doing some marketing, I would ask myself, how am I either priming or reinforcing the prospecting activities that I'm doing or plan to do? The role of marketing during your growth phase is to supplement your prospecting. Not replace it, but to supplement it. Even when you're prospecting based, you'll improve your results when you're also marketing enhanced. Prospecting and marketing are powerful lead generation activities, but neither is as powerful alone as they are together. For this reason, you have to support your lead gen plan with marketing. The two should be synergistic. What this means is your marketing should strengthen your prospecting in several ways. Number 1, marketing gives you a reason to call. Marketing provides the touch that will set you apart and makes you memorable after you've prospected. Steady, consistent marketing helps you gain and retain mind share. Page 10. Marketing gives you a reason to prospect. Hi, this is Zach. Did you receive the marketing report I sent you? Do you have any questions about the market report that I can answer for you? So let me give you an example of how I might do that in a very similar approach. I'll call it, hey, Leanne, this is Zach over at Keller Williams. How are you? Hey, just calling you. I know I sent out a report not long ago just about what's going on in the market and all that fun stuff. Just calling to see if it sparked any questions or if there's anything, real estate related that you had any questions about.
Not at the moment.
Okay, that's fine. Leanne, if you ever have any questions that come up about real estate in general, buying, selling, investing, your taxes, anything real estate related, do me a favor. Just give me a call. I'm happy to help you out with anything that I can, or put you in touch with some great vendors that I know do a great job for people. Is that okay?
Sure.
Awesome. By the way, do you know of anybody else who might be looking? You know what I mean? It's just a conversation starter, right? It gave me a reason to call her other than, hey, Leanne, we haven't talked in a while. What you up to? Right? It was a reason for the call.
Do you ask for referrals twice in most of your scripts? Is that what I'm hearing? It looks like you do a couple variations, but you
I probably do it close to 3 or 4 or 5 times sometimes. Depends.
so they want to.
Yeah. Usually what you're hearing me ask is if they have any plans to.
Okay.
And then the usual response to that is no. Every once in a while you'll get lucky and I'll say, yeah, great, let's do it. But when they say no to that, then I pivot to, okay, well, who do you know that might be? Or do you know anybody that might be? There are 2 asks for business there.
Or undoubtedly, after we hang up, you're going to think of something.
Right? Yeah, or well, do me a favor, if you do come across somebody, let me know. Marketing provides a touch that will set you apart even after you've prospected. Dear Mr. Ramirez, it was a real pleasure to meet you yesterday. You asked some great questions about how our local market is different from the national markets you hear about on the news. Be sure to call me next time you have a real estate question or need help buying or selling. Look forward to hearing. You can do this kind of stuff for just about anything, and it will set you light years apart from anybody else in the business, right? And here's what I love. I've become much more forward in my offering of my services than I have been in the past. I love this. Hey, here's the deal. Be sure to call me next time you have real estate questions or need help selling your home. It's not even an option. And I said, hey, Bob, could you do me a favor? If you have questions, what'd you call? Say, Bob, here's the deal. When you think about selling, give me a call. I'd love to help you. Like, those are the kind of conversations you need to be having with people. Let's say I'm at an open house. Nick comes through. We have a chance to meet. Hey, Nick, here's the deal. I know at some point in the near future you're going to buy a home. Just give me the call when you're ready to make that happen so that I can help you with that process. Make sure you're well taken care of. If that's pretty forward, and whether or not that fits your comfort style,
I didn't think that was,
yeah, that wasn't too crazy, right? Well, here's the deal. Give me a call. I'd love to make sure you. And I'm saying, yeah, you better call me because you want to win, right? Well, my team has a track record of winning in multiple offer situations, blah, 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 blah. You could use all kinds of stuff. Page 11. Number 3, steady, consistent, value-based marketing helps you keep mind shift. For example, a postcard here that's pictured here. It's part of a 12 direct and 33 touch program. Gives their database information of value while reminding them of their brand and their expertise in all aspects of the community. Hiking trails in, near, and around Denver. All right, well, if I got this, I'm probably going to throw it away, which is fine. Other people might love it and put it right on their refrigerator. But regardless, it served its purpose either way. It reminded me, who was going to throw it away, about these people in the business, even if it was for a split second. And for other people that reminded and see value in it, they're going to put it out in their fridge and they're going to constantly be reminded of this team, and they're going to be appreciative of the value the team offered, right? Bob, this is an example of your calendars, right? That's what it is.
How about on a weekend? Everybody wants to get excited about camping.
Absolutely.
What parks are we going to be able to reach within an hour's drive?
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing this at a high level, you've got this linked back to a website, right? Hey, visit hiking trails, whatever, for more information, or to see our featured trail of the month. I don't know, right? And oh, by the way, it's a website which is lead capture or directs to your home search website or whatever. Right? Bonus points if you are somebody that loves hiking. This is your business, right? Because you're mirroring it with something that you already like and enjoy. Right? Page 12, it's a numbers game. You can get a better response rate from your marketing if your target prospecting and marketing audiences are synergistic. If you prospect to the same people you're marketing to, that's the whole idea behind a farm. If I'm direct mailing a geographic farm and I'm door knocking them and I'm circle prospecting them with phone calls, it does not take long for me to become the one and only agent they think of, because I've just like I kicked them, I punched them, I roundhouse kicked them, like I'm everywhere. I'm in front of them in all different facets of communication. Average response rates by media. What these numbers really tell us is that we have room to improve. They show us what's possible. When we sharpen our skills, build our daily habit of 3 hours of lead generation, and implement our marketing and prospecting strategically, our marketing may double or triple the response rate of any industry. Page 13, marketing myths. I only need to prospect or market to be successful. Wrong, you need a combination of the two. I love this quote by Dick Dillingham. You want to out-touch everyone else. Be careful how you say that these days with a lot of what's going on. But really what he's saying is you want to out-market and out-relationship everybody. That is your goal. Yeah. You want to out-touch them all. Myth 2, the purpose of prospecting and marketing is to get appointments. Thank you, Nick. The purpose of prospecting and marketing is to get appointments and to increase your database of Mets, which is a fancy way of saying deepen, strengthen, or maintain your relationship. Myth number 3, any marketing I do builds mind share. I hate to break it to you, the bus stop bench.
Never understood that.
I agree with you. If you don't market repeatedly and consistently, you're throwing your money away, right? Or come up with a strategy that if I'm gonna do this marketing, what else can I do in addition to it that will likely improve or maximize my results? And I can speak to you from personal experience on this one. In 2017, Team Lucky Duck spent a few $1,000 with a direct mail to a certain neighborhood in Lakeville, Minnesota. We emailed people recipes. It went against my better judgment. But, you know, I let my people do their research. They talked to another team. This team said, yep, we've been having great results with this, whatever. So once a month, this neighborhood got postcards from us. Yielded 0. I think one person visited a home valuation website that we advertised on one of the postcards. That's
What
about
was
all.
your takeaway? It was a total waste
Yeah.
of money.
Right, no, so my takeaway was this, Leanne.
The recipes didn't work.
Yeah, my takeaway was I might choose a different media outlet, but my recipe was I did not do what I could have done to maximize my results. Never once did we door knock it in addition to that. Never once did we hold an open house within that same neighborhood. I could have gotten better results, but we chose not to because we were lazy, we were busy, right? So my takeaway is I can't just, one and done a mailer and expect to see results. I gotta hit the mailer, I've gotta double it up with door knocking and open houses and anything else I can to consistently get in front of those people, right? And who knows, maybe somebody will call tomorrow.
Okay.
Here's the bottom line. Sporadic marketing is pointless. Marketing has to be systematic and consistent to be effective. Systematic and consistent. Page 17, defining your brand. Your brand is what makes you memorable and valid to your client base and potential prospects. It's a systematic outgrowth of your own sense of validity. That's interesting. I would say it's you exuding confidence in what you do for your clients. There are 2 ways to build reputation: through marketing your unique selling proposition and brand, and through delivering on your value proposition and customer service. So telling people what you do and then actually doing it. Those are the 2 ways. And oh, by the way, it can work the opposite way too, right? Everything can be a part of your brand. Not everything can be a part. Everything is a part of your brand. Everything that you do, to include your marketing and prospecting, is a part of your brand. Your style of dress, your car, your use of technology, website level of service and efficiency, accessibility, the area you work, how you stage open houses, how many phone numbers you list on your card, how you answer your phone, the quality of your marketing materials, the frequency of your direct mail outs, your sign, your pre-listing packet, your community involvement, your knowledge of the area is all reflective of your brand. Whether you're being purposeful and strategic about it or not, it's a part of your brand, it's a part of your reputation. So take control of it and be a little bit more strategic about it. Branding, a process of establishing and managing the image, perceptions, and associations that the customer applies to your product. That's the best way to put it. You are managing the image, perceptions, and associations that people have with you. There are people out there that make a living doing brand management. Well, you are your brand manager. So what brand are you managing? I like this one right here because I teach pre-licensing every so often, and one of the questions I often get from people is, well, what kind of car should I have? Which I think is the most interesting question, right? What kind of car should I have?
One that runs.
A 15-passenger van.
Right. Well, usually what I tell them is, well, you want a professional vehicle that's kind of in the middle, right? You don't want to show up in I don't know, the most expensive. You don't want to show up in a Lamborghini. I'm being sarcastic, but you don't want to go on a listing appointment of a home that's $250,000, show up in a Lamborghini charging 6%. Yeah, because what's that person going to automatically think? Sometimes. This guy
That they're
obviously
paying
gets
for
paid
your
way
car.
too much. Yeah, I'm not going to pay for that fancy car, right? Or you show up in a car that's falling apart, rusted, makes a lot, like it's so loud that they know you're there before you ring the doorbell.
Uncle Buck.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what price point, right? Because and this might not be. It might not be the case. But what assumptions or judgments are they going to make right off the bat? This person is not successful. I should not be trusted with my house, right? Which, if you read the book The Millionaire Next Door, you realize oftentimes the people that are doing successful and they're wealthy, you'd never even know it, because they're being good with their money, which means they're not going out and buying a Lamborghini, right? Just think of what else you could invest with.
More houses.
Yes, thank you, sir. Bruce Hardy, head of the multi-million-dollar Hardy Group in Spokane, Washington, tells about how he subtly adjusted his brand early in his career. He says, I used to go to work in a navy blue double-breasted suit and a white starched shirt and a red power tie and nice black patent leather briefcase. Now I'd go to these $50,000 houses where the guy had just gotten home from work. He was in a panic, still covered in grease, and I would sit down, and what I realized was I was intimidating a lot of people whom I was trying to do business with. It probably wasn't intimidating them. It probably was turning them off. I've said I got to change my image. I developed my logo, or I had developed my logo, so I sent it to Land's End. Got a bunch of button-down shirts, khakis, just a more casual look. And once my image matched my target base, my conversion rate went up. Who are you talking to? You have to ask yourself, who am I talking to? Who is my audience going to be? And you might choose to show up differently depending upon who your audience is going to be. Is that being insincere? No, it's not being insincere. It's being strategic. It's being smart. If I'm going to go on $1 million listing potentially, I might dress a little bit differently than if I'm going to go meet a 90-year-old woman to help her get her home sold because she's going into assisted living. And that's okay, right? I personally am a pretty casual dude. When I go on a listing appointment, I don't show up in a crazy 3-piece suit to talk business, which is, it's fine if you do that. It's just not who I am. That's not the image I'm looking to give off. My image, my reputation is I'm a normal dude, family man. I'm pretty honest. Notice I said pretty honest. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a normal guy with a sense of humor who's got family values and is very trustworthy. By the way, we happen to deliver phenomenal customer service, right? You're not going to find, my Facebook profile page is not a glamour shot of me on some skyscraper in downtown Minneapolis. That's not the image or brand I'm going for. It's cool if you are. It might make sense to do that, but for me, no. That's just not. It's not what I am. My profile picture is not even of me. right? So how are you communicating to people and what message are you sending as a result of that communication? There's no one right brand. Each market and target demographic gravitates toward different kinds of people because there are certain people that, you know, if you have that professional picture where you're downtown on a skyscraper and, you know, they've got a condo to sell, you might be their person. Having a clearly defined brand is crucial for developing an effective long-term strategic action plan. Page 19. Refine your unique selling proposition. We already kind of did that in that first session that we talked about. Pinpointing that and giving it some more detail. Number 2 on page 21, analyze your style. According to Guerrilla Marketing, Americans are bombarded with about 2,700 advertisement marketing messages every day. That's why, in addition to branding around your professional services, you also need to develop a brand that stands out and has personality. Think about things that may or may not have anything to do with your business, but that are memorable. So oftentimes when I meet people for the first time and they hear my last name, what do you think is some of the responses that I get? Duckworth. Oh, that's not a common name. Perfect. I love that. So, do you think I play on that with my business? Absolutely. Last name is Duckworth. Huge opportunity to play on the duck thing, something that many people already know and are associated with ever since when they're a tiny kid, is like a duck, a lucky duck, right? Or a rubber duck or whatever, right? So hey, again, I got an idea. My last name is Duckworth. I can associate that with the duck. It makes me way more memorable. Guess what? We're Team Lucky Duck. That's too easy. And I'm going to make a logo that's got a duck. Pretty easy to remember. There's not many people out there other than Aflac. There's no, I can't think of, I'm sure there are other businesses out there that have ducks as their logo. The Mighty Ducks, for example. But it's a little bit different, right? It's easier to remember and it associates with my last name. One of the things that we're putting on all of our marketing material nowadays is dial the ducks. Dial the ducks, dial the ducks, dial the ducks. That's the message I'm driving home. If you have anything real estate related that you got a question about, you dial the ducks. I stole that from Ring the Rivers. Gene's been quoted in a lot of the material I've been talking about out of Florida, Gene Rivers. His wife, they came up with Ring the Rivers. That's all I'm just going to rip that off and call it Dial the Ducks, right? Or We Give a Duck. That's something that we put. Join the Flock, right? Just things play on words. It separates us and makes us a little bit more memorable. And Bob, that's what you have done with your saying, your slogan, and your caricature, right?
Because I would face the radio, I had to make a cartoon.
Come on, Bob. But you know what else I love about the logo is, unlike me, that logo will not age. So I can keep using this. I don't have to recreate marketing material or signage because I'm now 40 and I don't look like I did when I was 25 when I had my headshot taken, right? I can keep using that material. The style you develop should take into account what your target demographic expects and wants, and especially what will make you positively memorable. Page 23, number 3. Develop a brand identity statement. The final step is to combine the information, figure out what factors to emphasize in your brand. You summarize this in a brand identity statement. For example, you, the customer, benefit from my technical expertise as an architect. You receive an informed perspective on evaluating homes for architectural soundness, valuable advice dating older structures, and identifying architectural styles and tips on sound rehab opportunities for investors. Here's an analysis of this agent's style. My style is informal and sporty. My target audience is a mixture of laid-back college graduates and working class and middle class families. I'm unique because I'm in a jazz band and I have a degree in architecture. Some good words to describe me are accurate, energetic, highly motivated, and resourceful. Be true to yourself. Analyze what you're doing in your business. Ask your clients specific questions. Do a lot of soul searching to make your branding work. And try to be as genuine and sincere to yourself as you can be when you do your branding, because it's just going to make it that much easier. If I tried to brand myself as, you know, the high-powered blah, 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 whatever, I mean, I could do that, but it wouldn't be genuine. A good exercise regarding this would be the exercise on page 25. I would encourage you to do that between now and the next session. Page 27. When you make marketing part of your daily routine of 3 hours of lead generation, your prospecting is like making warm calls. The people know who you are before you even call them. It makes lead generation much more fun. Effective marketing has a clear, focused objective. That gets back to what you mentioned earlier about, hey, if I'm going to advertise this home that's been abandoned, you know, what is the clear, focused objective of that marketing piece? Right? What am I hitting on that speaks specifically to? Because I could send out the same mailer to 1,000 different people, or I could strategically look at the people that I'm sending mailers to and come up with maybe 3 or 4 different strategic messages I send to certain groups, right? Or different niches. Page 28, 6 methods for marketing your brand. Community involvement, mail outs, automated marketing, media, signage, and the internet. And then on page 28, it breaks down a few different mediums within those categories you can utilize. Number 1, completely free. Number 6, easy to leverage. Number 4, very cost effective, depending upon which ones you focus on. Automated marketing like email, pretty much free. Number 3, mail outs can be very cost effective. Yeah, right. If I get one deal, Leanne. Page 29, the big 3 marketing principles. Research your new marketing method. You can talk to me or an experienced agent about how well that method works in the community. And lead with revenue. Lead with revenue should be number 1 if they're being listed in order of priority. Can you afford it? If you can't, it's not right for you, at least not right now. Before you are seduced by the many creative and attractive ways to market, remember that you don't have to spend a lot of money to be effective. Consider Andy Allen, a mega agent in Austin, Texas, who knows that direct mail often ends up in the trash. He came up with another strategy. He says, I do the cheapest flyers. A piece of paper, it's a colored piece of paper with black ink, excuse you. But, bless you. But instead of mailing them, we roll them up and we put them between the door jamb and the door handle. So when people get home, they go, what's this? Because it's not mail, they open it and they see a picture of him in the subdivision. So he gets a little bit more impact each time. The flyers contain market information for those people who are interested, but for Andy, the key is to make sure people see his name. That's all he's worried about. Consistently, that the same people in the same neighborhood are seeing his name, and he's developing brand recognition. He acknowledges people move into the neighborhood and immediately they start getting this trash from Andy. Every month they go to their front door and they go, oh, it's Andy again. But he says 2 or 3 years later when they want to sell, who do they call? They call Andy because he's been hitting them with this stuff every month. His former partners used to complain over the marketing saying, I can't send this message out. I'm not happy with it. I don't like the way it looks. But Andy says, they don't care about the message. I care about the repetition. I'm in front of them every single month in and month out, and it's because of that impact that I became that expert in that neighborhood. And when it's time to move, they're going to call me because I'm going to be the only agent that comes top of mind. Numbers game, consistency. Page 30 talks about a few different ways you can utilize community involvement to build that network. Page 31 has all kinds of great different things that you can look at, start brainstorming, or pick one or two that you might choose to dive into. Number 2 talks about media advertising and the 6 principles of working with popular media. The only thing I would say about media advertising is watch your budget, watch your budget, watch your budget. Page 35, mail-outs. Mail-outs, believe it or not, or direct mail, are the backbone of most agents' marketing programs. Notice I said marketing programs, not prospecting programs, backbone of their marketing programs. Include an offer response element in every piece. You'll get an even better response if you hand deliver your material to your farm. Follow up on your mail-outs. Be strategic in your use of email. Consider these factors. Email is cheaper. It's easier for people to delete your emails without seeing them. So be smart about your subject headings and use pictures if you can. If you send material via email too often, you could get blocked. So keep that in mind as well. Page 36 has a great breakdown, and more information about mail-outs, the different types you can utilize, what their costs could be. I do my newsletter digitally. We do just listed, just solds. We do them both very cheap postcards. We'll mail around a neighborhood we just sold something in.
How do you get your postcards? Or what do you use?
Email clientcare@teamluckyduck.com. Kelly would tell you. She just prints them off and then she uses a paper cutter in the office. Oh, they're cheap and easy. They're cheap and easy. And we do just listed emails as well. So we email our database just listed and buyer needs. Market reports, we don't direct mail market reports. I really don't do market reports, period. Every once in a while in a newsletter, one of the 5 featured things might talk about the market. But 4, signs. Key outdoor marketing tips. Proof your material before they go to the printer. Your sign should always be clean and in good repair. Replace worn or broken or damaged signs immediately. Suit the message to the context. Your signs must be legible. Here's my take when it comes to signage. Less is more. Less is more. Want clean, simple, and communicate the things that you want communicated, which on a sign is really what?
Sale, name, number.
Yeah. So the broker logo has to be on there, but the other thing is you want your name on there, huge, for recognition, and then you want, at a bare minimum, your phone number, the way to contact you. Secondary, you might want your website. Yeah. Email address, I probably would not bother. Have you ever seen a yard sign? So I'm going to email that person. You're probably either going to call them or you might visit their website. So keep it clean and stick to the basics on it.
Or signs.
Yes, sir.
Can we have whoever's putting signs up, put up a sign, like a white sign with the Keller Williams logo, our name or whatever, and a coming soon?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
We gotta get
Talk to Nikki about what paperwork you need to have on file to do that and be legitimate with the MLS, but you can.
Something is if you have, let's say I sign an agreement today, but they don't want it to go until the first of the month,
Coming soon is just.
then you can put it up.
You just have to have their permission in writing and to submit some form to it.
Okay.
Keep it simple, keep it clean and uncluttered. Use your picture or your logo.
Says do that or do not?
Do those things. Do those things. Yep. Page 39 has some examples of what you can utilize, what the cost might be, yard signs, billboards, branding your personal vehicle, etc., etc. I would say, yard signs is probably the only one we want to focus on at least right away. Maybe wrapping your car is something you choose to do. If you want, I think that would actually work against me. Knowing how I drive, yeah. So I wrap my car with my competition's information. No, I'm just kidding.
You see that car pulled over?
Right. Page 40, automated marketing. This uses technology such as voicemail messaging, email mailouts, text messaging systems to just auto market to people on a mass scale consistently and regularly. So when we're doing a client appreciation event, I think it's either the day before or the morning of, mass text messages go out to our database reminding them of the event. Right, so we're just, how can we hit these people as many ways as possible, and in a way that leverages our time, so we're not the ones having to physically do it all the time. Automated marketing with some breakdowns on voicemail, email, and fax. If you're still faxing in today's world, get with the times. Get with the times. Just kidding. Every once in a while, some business requires a fax, and it just drives me nuts. Voice broadcasting tips: you can record a message and then have that message, or have a system call people and play that message for them. Not saying you have to do that, but that could be a form of circle prospecting. Hey, this is Zach with Keller Williams, just calling the neighborhood to let you know we recently sold a property in your neighborhood for $10,000 over the list price. If you or anyone you know is interested in selling, the market is unbelievable right now. I'd love to talk to you about how you can get top dollar for your home. Feel free to give us a call at blah 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 if you're interested. Don't spam. Remember, people come to your website for 3 primary reasons. Now we're going to talk website. To look at available homes, to learn about their property's value, to learn about neighborhoods. Now, number 3 is not even really relevant. Number 1, and like 99.9%, is to look at available homes. Number 2, maybe to try to learn about their property value. One of the reasons they might be looking at homes is to determine what they can maybe sell their home for. Unless you have built in some more information or specifically been providing additional info about neighborhoods, they're likely not visiting your website to learn more about neighborhoods, right? Unless you've made that a part of what you're doing. They just want to see the homes that are listed for sale. That's all. If you build an educational piece to your website, that might be of interest to them as well. Remember, you have to have content that the public wants, and you have to make your site's content findable. Good content. Post a blog about local real estate market conditions, post your listings for free anywhere that you can, create a profile for yourself on Facebook, no kidding. Post footage of home repairs projects, flipping projects, YouTube, etc. on YouTube, etc. Marketing your listing on page 47. Remember, most of the marketing you do around your listings serves to bring you more buyers. Many of the advertising methods that customers often insist on, open houses, advertising in newspapers, etc., have a very, very low rate return of actually selling the property, right? But anytime you can advertise a property, it really gives you the chance to advertise who? You, right? And that you're finding success. How buyers find their homes. 43% website, 33% real estate agent. Well, I guarantee you a majority of the 30% real estate agent, they found those homes using the website. Signage, friend, neighbor, etc. I mean, the big takeaway here is you need to be online or working with agents to make it happen. They do, however, boost your buyer business. In fact, the marketing you do around your inventory is the best possible advertisement for your ability to help buyers find the home of their dreams. With this fact in mind, construct your marketing action plan for your listings in such a way as to get the best possible results for your sellers while giving your company maximum exposure. By company, we mean you, your brand. Remember that for selling homes, the most effective media are other agents, 33%, the internet, 43%, and yard signs, roughly 10%. Page 48, basic 14-step marketing plan for listings. Staging and pricing strategies for sale signs, flyer boxes, flyers in the house, the MLS, virtual tours, open houses, broadcasting via email, etc. Showings and feedback, target marketing, weekly seller updates, property caravans, creative marketing ideas. Anytime you get a listing, yeah, that's great. We want to sell the home, but we need to exhaust our ability to attract and win buyers at the same time. Brand your photos on KWLS. That's a way to pick up buyers. Page 49, marketing to sell. Even though the majority of the marketing you do around your listings functions to attract buyer business for you, you do need to sell your listing as quickly as possible for the highest price possible and with the least amount of hassle. Consequently, we're going to talk a little bit about that. Other agents. I'm sure you've already begun getting emails from other agents that are, broadcasting their properties for sale, or reverse prospecting. When an agent is reverse prospecting on the MLS, what does that mean?
Going back to connect to people that searches.
Right.
Connect with them.
It means that as an agent, I can look at other agents and what searches they have set up. I can't see them in detail, but what I can see is that Leanne has a client whose search criteria is set up in a way that my home gets triggered for it, right? So what I might do is choose to send Leanne or all the other agents that have buyers looking for homes that my listing fits that criteria, a special marketing piece that says, hey, looks like this home might be a match for your client. Let them know about it. Or, hey, I'm holding it open this weekend. Send them through. Or, hey, let them know about it, and we will entertain any offers. Let us know, right? Yard signs, yep, we got it. Don't disqualify your listings. When a buyer looks at a listing in a home magazine or some other marketing vehicle, they want to know, is it attractive? Will it fit my needs? Is the location right? Can I afford it? Don't forget that your flyer should also have other properties on the back, including investment opportunities, so that every listing advertises your other listings. Could you have a flyer in a home or in a flyer box where this page talks about the listing that they're at and all the beautiful features of it, and the back page has a home or has 6 or 8 more homes that are available for sale? Right, absolutely. Well, what do you tell the seller? Well, hey, aren't you trying to sell my home? Yeah, but here's the deal. Your home might not be a fit for everybody. You want to maximize your exposure. So guess what? If you have a flyer like this in yours, they have a flyer like this in theirs as well, which is also cross-marketing your property. Right? But I don't have any listings. That's fine. Talk to agents that do. Ask if you're going to hold open houses for them, etc. Page 55. Now here are going to be some interesting statistics for you. Systematic marketing. We're talking about 8x8s, 33 touch, and 12 direct. Conversion ratios. METs. 12 names in your database will yield 2 closed transactions. So your database of METs yield a 12-to-2 ratio. For every 12, the studies show, this is not theory, this is studies based on people who are doing the 8x8s, the 32 touches, and the 12 directs, that you can expect to get about 2 pieces of business per every 12. That's not saying that 2 of the 12 are doing business with you. It's saying that either they are or they're referring you to somebody that you're doing business with, right? But here's the deal: in order to see the 12-to-2 ratios, you have to be marketing to people and prospecting to them regularly. You can't just build a massive database and say, well, I've got a massive database and I send everybody an annual newsletter and expect to get to 12-to-2. It doesn't work that way. You have to build to that certain number and then be marketing to it, prospecting it actively. Have not mets. 50 names in your database will yield 1 closed transaction. 50-to-1 have not mets. Page 56. Use these formulas to figure out how many people you need to include in your marketing plans. For example, if you want to close 36 deals and you want to keep your marketing expenses down, you might concentrate your efforts on your METs. You might decide to aim for 3/4 of your deals to come from your METs and 1/4 to come from your have METs. So 36 times 3/4 equals 30 deals from your METs. 36 times 1/4 equals 6 deals from your haven't METs. That allows you to break it down and get a little bit more strategic about it. Plug these numbers into their respective formulas to get the bare minimum size of your database. If I want to get 30 deals from my METs, that means I need to have at least 180 METs in my database to hold true to the 12-to-2 ratio. And I need to have 300 haven't METs if I want to hold true to my 50-to-1 ratio for haven't METs. In other words, you will need to market to at least 180 people you've met using the 8x8 and the 33 touch to get 30 deals in 12 months. Keep in mind that the smaller your database is, the more emphasis you need to put on prospecting. Since prospecting makes a more powerful effect, it helps to ensure the success of your marketing action plan. To make up the remaining 6 deals from the haven't nets, you'll need a consistent marketing program that reaches a minimum of 300 people. If you're not ready to tackle a database of that size, do more prospecting so that you can boost your Mets database and spend more of your energy and money marketing to them. Because these numbers also vary from one market to the next and from one agent to the next, it's prudent to work from an even larger database. Hedge your bets. Top producing agents calculate the database they need to meet their goals and then work to market to that database that's double that size. Once you've set your goals, you're ready to work on the details of your marketing action plan. 3 key strategies will help you make your plan successful. Target your audience, be consistent and repetitive, and do not overthink it. Put it into action. Don't let overthinking it cause you to stay in inaction. Do it. Page 57 talks about some things you can work through to create your target audience. Who is my target audience? Are they a geographic farm, et cetera, et cetera? What do these people know? What's my purpose? What would make them act on my call? What impression do I want to create in their minds? This right here, Heather, page 57, is exactly the list you need to consult when you're going to market to that property that is abandoned.
Yeah.
Right? Number 2, be consistent and repetitive. The last thing you want is people wondering whatever happened to, or now that I need a real estate agent. If you're consistent and repetitive, you'll always be top of mind. You're going to win that mind share battle. Josh Stern discovered the value of consistency early in his career. He remembers the first year that I began in real estate, I had 160 people in my database. By the end of the year, I had done 27 transactions that were directly related to my database. So I took 167 and divided it by 27 and found out that 1 out of every 5.9 people I contacted over 33 times a year, I did business with. So I know that the people who do the 8x8 and the 33 touch consistently will absolutely positively get results to that number. This is a way you can bring some mathematical certainty to our business and to our industry, which deals with a lot of uncertainty. Build your business and run your business to the numbers. Don't overthink it. Don't spend all of your time designing or marketing, or worse, revising your marketing. Find a clear, strong message, stick with it, and get it out over and over again. It's far better to send out lots of mild quality marketing than to waste weeks twiddling with your design to create one brilliant piece that you send out only one time. Page 59 outlines the 8x8. 8x8 plans are already built for you in eEdge. You can put people on them with a click of a button. The same with your 33 touch campaign. 12 direct mail outs. A lot of them are already built for you. Page 62, making it memorable, making it persuasive are absolutely crucial. And there are 12 design tips in there that you can consult as you're creating your marketing pieces, etc. Include an offer response in every piece. Come from contribution. Emphasize benefits, not features. Have a consistent look and feel. You want your brand to be recognizable, therefore your brand needs to be consistent. Have an attractive professional look. Don't get too crazy using all kinds of different types of fonts, etc. Have a unique eye-catching hook or slogan. Personalize your ads and events. Look for longevity. Ask yourself, for example, if you're going to buy marketing material, what's the longevity of this marketing? How long will it live on for? You know, one of the things we give people at closing are a couple of coffee mugs with our team logo on it, because I know, unlike a direct mail piece, for example, that might get thrown away, a coffee mug is probably going to survive for a long time and get used, hopefully, quite a bit. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't care. Honestly.
Or they'll end up in Goodwill and do advertising.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No matter what, it's going to be somewhere. Or best case scenario, it ends up as a pin holder on somebody's desk. Perfect. To go look at it every day. Use only one focused message per piece. Use testimonials. That should be like one of the very first tips we give you when it comes to your advertisements. Use testimonials with your advertisements to give yourself validity, credibility, to make it that much easier for people to make the decision to utilize you. Leverage the seasons. I do that with our client appreciation events, so usually in line with seasons or holidays. Brand on both sides, absolutely. That's kind of a no-brainer. Page 71. Remember, while you're still on the path to 36 transactions, you should spend the majority of your 3 hours prospecting. Your marketing activities should supplement your prospecting, not replace it. Remember that consistency and repetition are the most effective aspect of marketing. It's much more important to get something out there fast and often than to spend so much time refining your masterpiece that your 33 touch becomes a 12 touch or your 12 direct becomes a 4 occasional. Page 72. Adopt lead generation activities that complement each other and suit your behavioral style and interests. Master at least 3 reliable lead generation activities up front that you'll be able to rely on. Track your results with each activity and continually add new activities over time. Here's a lead generation action planning worksheet on page 73 that you can utilize to break down your goal based on what you want your gross commission income to be. It can help you choose which type of marketing to invest in. And then here's an example weekly time blocking calendar that you can utilize to help with some of the time blocking. So that being said, we're just a few minutes over noon. Any questions, ahas, feedback, takeaways that you guys want to go over? Otherwise, we covered prospecting and marketing this morning. How we doing, Leanne? Need a glass of wine?
No, I'm fine.
Oh wait, you have wine?
But it wouldn't hurt.
Right. All right, guys, thanks very much. Our next session is this coming Friday.
Thank you.
Is that fine?